Since the allegations broke about Yandere Dev in October, I've been following it and speaking to him. I spoke with all of the involved parties and investigated this to the best of my ability. I know I don't have the full picture, but everyone in this story is quite honestly a liar, a rat, or hiding something. This video is not only to explore the allegation further, but to show you how the well has been poisoned, to show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. I'm releasing what I have, burning the bridges, and letting the public decide. Everyone in this story is a liar, two-faced, or a snake, and the story is contradicted the entire time. The minor at the center of this allegation and story is especially a problem. She is, in my opinion, a lunatic, a serial blackmailer, and a compulsive liar. Over the course of everything that happens in this video, I'll be articulating on this thesis statement, alluding to every single fact physically possible to my disposal and the best of my ability. So, without further ado, let me tell you the untold story of how Yandere Dev, the creator of Yandere Simulator, fell apart.
Am I a bad guy?
No. You're lying because you don't want me to catch you, right? That's exactly fucking why.
Right, no, because he fucked up. You can't... He's not innocent.
Really? That's crazy. So then I made the HoneyPot rules with the most frequently asked questions.
So you didn't run one, but
I didn't...
you coached people on how to run one.
Yeah.
Other underage girls?
Yeah.
Some background for the uninitiated. Yandere Dev, aka Alex, is a disgraced video game creator. The public claims he lacks talent and is a dysfunctional gooner. He's the creator of a game called Yandere Simulator. Alex has existed in this limbo the entire time, never reaching the end point of this game. His controversies span an entire debunk page on his website that's archived every single one of his controversies that he felt he needed to catalog. Alex has been accused of crimes of being a dick, being lazy, and in 2023, he was accused of something much, much worse. So it all started like this for me. I saw a tweet from Cameron F305 about the allegation, or something similar to that effect. He wasn't specific in the tweet, and the tweet's now gone, of course. It's from that I knew things would be happening. And as such, shortly after that tweet, despite me missing it, I began cataloging every single interaction I had. And it starts like this. I learned about a TikTok shortly after the Cameron tweet from an individual named Bug.
If that is for some reason true, which, do you have any proof of that? But if that is for some reason true, why, when he learned that she was under 18, did he keep talking to her? Because in the voice clips, he admits that he knows that she is under 18. Do you talk to any other girls my age? No. Wouldn't that make me a bad guy? When you're 18, are you going to start an OnlyFans? And then talks about how Mother Nature gives children breasts and that children's bodies sexualize themselves? You are glazing on it. You are doing backflips on it. You're doing mental gymnastics in your head like this is the NBA. And you going this far to protect a predator is almost insane because you are enabling predators. You are enabling this man.
They go by Socks IRL, who was an alleged friend of the victim. You see, Yandere Dev had found himself allegedly caught red-handed with a minor in a grooming allegation. The victim's name is Anne, but she goes by many names. I'll mention them as they come up and probably switch back and forth due to the length of this video. But here are the names that I know she goes by, a bunch of different screen names. Anne has inserted herself as a public character in this debacle, going as far to use her real legal name on Twitter. She's currently 17, but let's put a pin in that. You see, while speaking to Dev, she was 16 and then turned 17 over the course of the story, turning 17 in February. And for reference, Dev is in his mid-30s. The age is publicly listed as 35. So after learning about this allegation, Bug was quick to hop on a call with me and share details. I heard passing rumors a YouTuber was getting involved, making a video that had alleged dick pics that Dev had sent to Anne the minor. This would be a smoking gun. I mean, it's a felony, of course, but it's impossible to confirm this because no one could get the snap logs. Everyone was going off of the word of Anne, who, at the time, everybody had plenty of reason to trust. Bug was a weird one when I spoke to them. They're clearly young, they didn't disclose their age, but they did include that they're an adult. They were very skittish with me, but also very willing to talk at the same time, and I'm basically a stranger to them. Bug's manner of speech made it sound like they knew they were being recorded. Regardless, I recorded the call in this interview where our story begins, and Bug begins to reveal to me the plot as it stands.
I want to say beforehand that all of this is alleged, just with some proof, and also I can't give you permission to make a video like immediately, just because of the current situation that's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have no script, so this will just be from.
Whoop.
Sorry, this will just be from memory.
Mm.
And I do have proof. I have an hour and 30-minute voice call. I have screenshots and screen recordings. But as I said, all of this is alleged for legal reasons.
Mm.
And I am going off a victim's word, and also proof. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the more you share with me, the easier this is going to be for me to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. I'm actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm actually talking to a private investigator right now, because of the current events that happened, as I said. I would like to start telling you how I got to this point in the situation, how this came to light, and what exactly happened.
Re-listening to this call a few times, the PI thing is just really confusing. In my personal opinion, I don't think there was a PI involved in any of this to begin with. Nothing ever came up, and few people heard as much as I did. But we exchanged quick pleasantries, and Bug began to talk. A point worth mentioning about their story is that some of it isn't true, or the story would change radically depending on the audience, since Anne is something else. But just know for now, a lot of this is hearsay with no evidence, and unfortunately Bug would end up contributing to poisoning the well, though I don't think they had any idea that this would happen.
Early in September, I posted a video. It was basically making fun of Yandere Dev. It wasn't like this big thing. It was when you realize the Confederacy lasted long. I mean, sorry, not the Confederacy. When you realize Yandere Simulator has lasted longer than the Confederacy, because the Confederacy only lasted like 4 years. I did not expect it to get anywhere. I thought it would only get, my usual like 300, 200 views maybe. However, it gained over 20,000 likes, and someone in the comments said, "I can't wait until a video comes out at the ending of September." So at first I thought they were talking about me, because I left TikTok a year ago, almost two years ago. In December it'll be 2 years, because of these rumors about me, and I left and I never looked back, and then 2 years later I came back. So I DM'd them and I was like, "Hey, what video?" And they were talking about Yandere Dev, and I was like, "Oh, like, what about him? What happened?" And they started opening up to me. Around a week ago, I was given permission to release a video. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. It reached over 1 million views. And it was about how Yandere Dev was talking to a 9-year-old. I want to say that this is alleged, and also their conversations didn't get sexual until she hit puberty, which was around 12 or 13. Also, when he started talking to her when she was 9, it was small talk, and it was off and on, and it wasn't like constant. And then they stopped talking for a little while, and then she rejoined his Discord server and started talking to him again. They started a kind of relationship when she was 16. So then after that video, a lot of people started asking questions. Obviously, I didn't release any proof because it would backfire on the victim, so I decided not to until I was allowed to. 2 days ago, I was allowed to give proof. That was whenever my video had hit, I think it was 300,000 likes, 1 million views. I was cleared to give some proof, and the proof was him acknowledging she was underage, him talking about sexual stuff with her. You saw the video, I presume.
A lot of what Bug is discussing here needs some outside context, so I'm going to elaborate on that. The person in the comments was Anne. Anne, after getting friendly with Bug, starts telling this story. Information is exchanged thereafter. Simultaneously, while these talks are happening, a YouTuber has been toiling away at a video including the evidence that Anne was now sharing with Bug. So let's introduce this YouTuber, a main character in this plot, a main moron, if you will, from my perspective. The YouTuber goes by the name AliMCC. She's a moron that routinely stonewalled this and refused to share information and put me in a position where I need to constantly go around asking and comparing stories. This woman was allegedly sitting on a smoking gun that could get this guy locked up, or so I was told. She had been talking with Anne the minor, while the minor was talking to Yandere Dev over the course of Ali's research. Sometimes, at the exact same time, Ali was gathering recordings from the minor and Dev, knowing full well what was going on. You heard that right. The YouTuber was using a real minor to perform a Discord sting operation, though Ali would contest that as a opinion. You could even see Anne and the YouTuber talking to DMs while she's on the phone with Yandere Dev. Imagine you are coordinating recordings, believing a minor is being groomed on the other end, editing the video of the minor being groomed, while also asking the minor to get specific details.
I guess I just never saw that as a bad thing. Like, to work on one project for a long time. I'm okay with it because every day I get a message from someone saying, hey, I really enjoy the game you're making, keep up the good work. So I feel like I'm doing something that's not bad and that it's okay to keep doing it.
Yeah.
When I would confront Ali on this, she always said she never encouraged it, but couldn't necessarily stop her either, given that she didn't know where Anne lived.
Alright. I'm gonna drop the pretense here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's how it looks to me. Right? To me, it kind of looks like you might have had an active hand in trying to entrap Yandere Dev using a real minor. Right? I have a call that allegedly includes you, Krexa, and Jane, where Krexa is encouraging Jane to record these calls and trying to get entrapping material on him.
And I have never really encouraged Jane to maintain contact with either Alex or Cameron for any purposes.
In some respects, this is understandable, but I have a counterpoint. You were more than happy enough to keep gathering the information the minor collected to tell the story, which provides an incentive for the minor to keep talking to him. On September 21st, Bug gets a message from Ali, because now that the info is out there, Anne is getting cold feet, with the internet discourse going on about the clips that Bug shared.
Today at 5:40 p.m., she texts me, hey Bug, I'm in need of help if you've got a bit. And in my mind, it was just about the video. I say, yes, of course, what's up? And she says, victim wants to back out. She's afraid, and I don't know what to do. And I said, he's scaring her. Oh my god, what he's doing is not okay. What is she afraid of, if you don't mind me asking? I know it will be, she said, I know it will be better once everything is out in the open, but I don't want to put the video just out yet because she revokes consent. I said, yeah, I understand, don't worry. We talk a little bit, and I post about it on Reddit, because I was active on the Osamna, I think, Reddit community, where they just kind of shit talk Yandere Dev. I was talking about it, and I then realized that she unadded me. I told Ali, I said she unadded me, and she said, oh no. And I said, this isn't good at all, he's going to reoffend. She said, I think she blocked me. I said, what do? We have to make sure he never does this again. She says, I have no idea. I don't know if she'll ever come back. She talked about ghosting everyone and leaving the internet. Her mental state is really bad right now. I said, we can't just let this go away. He never takes accountability and everyone supports her. He can't legally do anything. At this point, he's just threatening a victim. She says, the only thing I can think of is to post the video anyways, maybe with a brief explanation at the beginning, but that feels so vile to tell her story without her consent. I said, we can't do anything else. I then start talking to another big creator. I think it's Decepti Kami. She has almost 100,000 followers on TikTok. I said that I was going to start emailing YouTubers about it.
Okay, so Bug mentions another minor character in the story, Decepticami, who is a femboy TikToker and also, in my opinion, a moron, who self-injected themselves into this situation, making it even worse. Kami is a kind of a confidant of Allie, at least from my perspective. They were both in a group chat with the victim, the minor, and Kami shared information from the victim. Kami operated as a creator covering the allegations. Kami is basically a TikTok commentary and streamer, doing amazing things like propagating Reddit rumors about video games that end up not being true, as the game's Discord put out an announcement about it. The thing that made this stupid rumor worse was poor Discord moderation, but here is the example of Kami flubbing that.
This new horror game about Steamboat Willie may be hiding anti-Semitism in plain sight. The game is called Infestation 88 and it's about you taking care of an infestation of rats by gassing them. There's a lot of reasons why people are calling this game anti-Semitic, but let's start with the most basic. So, we have 88 in the title of the game. Yes, the game takes place in 1988, but we can't ignore the fact that it's also 14 letters exactly. In addition to this, we have an Easter egg that references the assault rifles that were used by German troops in World War II. Let's look at the developer page. Now keep in mind, this is their very first game, but they claim that they've been making games since 2010. But the website was copyrighted in 2024. What's 24 minus 10? I don't know, you do the math. The most damning piece of evidence of all is the fact that it's about gassing rats, specifically gassing them as a forms of extermination. It is important that you understand that Jewish people have a history of being compared to rats. And I know it's a lot of coincidences, but when you paint a canvas with coincidences, you get an entire picture. Also, I don't know, this is probably important, but this is a snippet from the Discord server for this game, allegedly, so that's something. All in all, I'm not sure about playing this game because it's kind of rubbing me the wrong way. What do you think?
Even still, Kami also shared false information from the minor because nobody can keep their fucking mouth shut. But we'll get to that when we start discussing more of the minor and a related alleged dick pic that went around. Anyway, back on timeline with the plot here. At this point, the call with Bug, they tell me about their responses and how r/Osana was acting, where Anne is basically pleading her case in the comments of r/Osana's post for the YouTuber to drop the story and go home. Meanwhile, in the same breath, the public is speculating that this young lady is actually being manipulated to say these things on Reddit and that she's actually being blackmailed by Yandere Dev to shut it down. Now, remember the blackmail part because that's going to come up again much later. My call with Bug was very cordial. Bug is a little goofy and affable. Outside of the call, the questions that I was asking were really just shooting the shit. They seem like a fine person. It's important to build rapport in these cases. In the case I was going to speak with Bug in the future. Ultimately, I think out of anyone in this situation, the least culpable is Bug. They simply trusted someone untrustworthy online. By the time that I had gotten involved, a lot of everything was starting to kick off in the official capacity. But before I go further, I need to actually lay out the rogues gallery because I've already introduced quite a lot of names, and there's going to be plenty more that are introduced in this Discord conspiracy theory. So the most important for a lot of this is Allie MCC. She is a linchpin in this. She facilitated calls for the minor, would talk shop in DMs with the minor, and despite constantly repeating how she didn't encourage it, I will argue that she did, and we'll explore that more. Decepticami was a member of the group chat that would share info on Dev and is a YouTuber who shared information regarding the story. The group chat shows Allie and the minor and Kami all talking. Kami's claim to fame is leaking a quote-unquote dick pic that I mentioned previously that we'll explore in detail as is multiple versions of that one picture. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum is Cameron F305. Cameron is Yandere Dev's so-called personal assistant by many online. He's a lot of things and he's intimately involved in this story. He has lied constantly, some of which are ridiculous. Cameron also slept with the minor. And yeah, I understand that's an outrageous thing to say, and you're gonna need to stick with me, but yeah, I will address that later. Yandere Dev is the man of the hour and alleged pedophile. According to Cameron, he claims Dev was waiting for her to turn legal of age. We will go over the calls as I have a good number of them, undoctored and uncensored. Anne is the minor. She has a history of pedo baiting, but the story changes each time you ask her about it. She constantly flip-flops on people, saying Cameron assaulted her without saying it. She editorializes and makes up events. You chalk it up to her being 16 to 17, but I think she's old enough to know better, and this is not only malicious, but I have recordings claiming she would benefit from this, using 4chan and Discord as a means to bait people and do various other things, such as run Discord e-brothels. Krexa, the last character you haven't met, accused Cameron of being a domestic abuser and ultimately a psychopath who listens to women scream in his sleep. She's a character yet to be introduced, but it's important I mention these people now, so that way when we get to them, you understand who the hell I'm talking about, because there's a lot of names. Now, I'm sure you all enjoyed the Yandere Dev Pack Watch a couple months ago, and I do plan on delivering on some Pack Watch content. You see, early on in my investigation, I was given the Snapchat DMs many of you saw. These DMs were between Anne the minor and a user called Cosplay Fan, who was confirmed to be Yandere Dev as I asked him myself. I went into a call under the pretense of a conversation before I changed the mood and said I had just received these on a whim. Something I noticed Dev do is that he kind of recontextualizes events to appear the victim. It's his main go-to in my personal opinion. People seem to think Dev and Cameron are master manipulators, and frankly, that couldn't be more wrong. These guys are moronic dullards. This conversation shows that, and frankly, I don't know what the hell they are thinking even answering these things. Anyway, I phrased it like I just got these Snapchats, as if we were just talking and shooting the shit, and presented the conversation to Dev there and then in front of Cameron as well. Now, I understand the pauses are incredibly long in testing your Zoomer patience, but it's important I show you just how long the pauses were. I would show Dev things and he would sit there in silence. I think it's better I present this with the full context anyway, since these people will say I'm editing the calls, and of course I will leak all these calls.
But yeah, I have been getting stuff. So, in the sake of transparency, I'm going to share this with you. Any context you can add to this is greatly appreciated. She titled it that. Is that you in the DMs?
Yeah, look what I'm saying here. I'm saying I don't want to have a romantic or sexual conversation with someone under 18. I'm like saying I don't like this and think it's bad. Seems that this is just me saying like, yeah, no, talking to minors is bad.
Yes, so yeah, I think about that sometimes. 17 is 94.4% of 18. So therefore being attracted to a 17-year-old girl is 94.4% okay. She says, well, only a few months until I'm 17. Like the physical difference between a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old is less than 6% difference. So being attracted to a 17-year-old is nearly identical to being attracted to an 18-year-old. And you aren't attracted to her at all, is what you're saying?
I mean, if someone asks me, do you think I'm attractive? I'm not going to tell you, oh, you're butt ugly. I'll tell them, like, oh, you're fine. I'll say, oh, yeah, you're nice looking, because I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be polite. So if I say something like that, like, oh, you're attractive, then that's just me trying to be polite or be nice.
You didn't feel uncomfortable about saying, well, you're pretty. What are you saying? You know how that could be like optically bad, right?
I know that, yeah, that's the whole problem, is that this is optically really bad, but I'm not some kind of predator who goes around trying to rape children. Probably doesn't sound good, but
She says, yeah, no one in law enforcement would find out, though. Personally, I have too much stuff going on in my house to ever have police anywhere near it. I'd have taken down my whole garden, and that would strongly impact my source of income. So I won't be dealing with cops. Garden. Was she growing weed?
yeah, she said she was growing weed.
Okay.
The fuck?
And then you say, yeah, I know, but if I ever decide, fuck that Yandere Dev guy, you could anonymously release screenshots of some horny statement I made towards you. You gotta elaborate.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, it's like, no, I am not going to be sexual with you. That would be stupid of me. If I was sexual with you, you would take a screenshot of it and then you would release it. That's why I don't want to be sexual with you.
But you're saying here that you said horny statements in the past.
No, I'm not saying I have made horny statements. I'm saying I would not make horny statements. Here's my reasoning why I wouldn't.
Okay.
She lives on the other side of the country, so she's East Coast?
I guess, yeah, I think so.
Okay. So really, the only thing for me to get out of this are lewd pictures to FAP to. She responds, which I'll provide if you promise to keep it secret. Oh, heart emoji. I would keep it a secret.
I know that one looks really bad. What I'm basically saying is, like, why the fuck would I do this? The only thing I could get out of this is, like, what, lewd pictures and videos? It's like, that's how I meant to interpret, that's how I meant for that statement to be interpreted. Like, the tone of voice isn't really included there.
Well, the emoji implies flirtatious.
Yeah. I know it sounds that way. I know it looks really bad. This is like exactly what I was worrying about, is that it's going to look, it looks a certain way.
I gotta ask, why? I feel like that's the point you should end a chat.
I know. That is where I should have ended chat. Instead, I tried to be cheeky, and that was really stupid.
So that's like... Okay. So you acknowledge that.
Yeah, I acknowledge it was stupid. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put you in a gotcha or grill you like too hard, but I have to, right? This is my job.
I mean, but you're not making a statement or like...
No, I'm not doing anything with this right now. I'm too fucking busy. I just got off of like 3 different sexual assault allegations back to back. Unless something like outrageous fucking happens.
Unless
right?
you said through your cock.
Nope.
You
I
never
didn't
sent
send her
anything?
anything ever.
Okay.
It's too big to fit in the picture, trust me. I've seen it. That was out of pocket, my bad.
That's a nice thing to say, Cameron. It's always important to gas up the homie's cock size. Oh my god. Let's see. She's like, distribution of CP is illegal for both parts. I can't press charges without also being charged. That's also not how that works, but okay. And I do not want people in court.
Actually, in
looking.
some states, that is how it works. Because one of my homeboys, when I was in high school, is like on the sex offender registry because he was 16 years old and he sent a 16-year-old girl like nudes and she sent it back, and like the dad found out and he got convicted. This fucked situation. So it can happen. You actually kind of spit in there.
Let's see. I do not want the court looking at my news. I'd kill myself, and I have a single dad, so I'd be disowned. I do have to warn you that I don't shave anything, though. Not allowed to buy razors. You say, well, I'm not specifically, explicitly going to say, send me nudes now, please, in quotes. But, well, I like hot ladies. She responds, can I change the chat? Delete settings. Every time I leave and come back, I forget what I said, but it's up to you. You respond, sure, but I might get real silent and not say much.
It probably would look better if I told her, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Shut the fuck up about this shit. Instead, I just say, you know what? I'm just going to get real silent and not say much to you. It probably doesn't read like someone harshly rejecting someone else, but I was trying to think, how do I be nice and also say, no, don't do this.
Yeah, you were trying to politely turn them down, basically.
Trying to turn them down, and I was thinking, how do I do this without like losing them as a fan?
Did you ever think they might be like wanted you romantically, or
it started to look that way, and that's when I started distancing myself. Well, I'm certainly not doing this.
I will say, the words lewd pictures does not specifically imply, because one thing I will say is like hentai is a thing. I'm not trying to like go like crazy here, but it's like that's like not uncommon, and like I guess Discord communities to like share like NSFW artwork.
Yeah, but you're still not supposed to share it with a minor. That you can get.
I wouldn't really want to do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying that's what he was doing. I'm saying that's what she could have been offering, and that's kind of how it comes off. Because let's be real, I don't think you're out there sending I don't think you're commonly out there in the market sending and receiving and trading nude pictures with people there. I think you're working on a video game. So I guess I'm trying to understand your interpretation of that message.
What specifically do you want to what specifically do you want to hear me clarify?
Your interpretation.
The only thing I have to get out of this is lewd pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying like, why the fuck would I do this? The only thing I could get out of it is lewd pictures. It's like, no, this is not worth my time. I wouldn't do this. There's not much in it for me. Like what, lewd pictures? No, sorry, not interested.
I think it's the next thing though. Oh, heart. I'll keep it secret, heart. Like that comes off a little weird. This is the first thing. I'm looking
at it now. If it was me looking at someone else, I would think that it looks really bad and incriminating. I know how I meant it, which is like cheeky and like tongue in cheek and like sassy or whatever. But I understand how it probably doesn't come off that way.
I will say I've never seen you use that emoticon in my life. I've worked with you for 4 years.
Yeah.
I've never seen you go.
The thing that and the reason I show this to you is because you're not a very social person, so.
Yeah, I've never seen you use that, you know, the ASCII heart. So it just comes off as, was he joking? I'm trying to look at this as, okay, this is my friend. I know how they typically communicate, and this is not. Most of this, some of it looks okay. That's your speech pattern. I got it. The ASCII heart, I've never seen you use that in the past 4 years of mostly text-based conversations with you.
This is so ironic because earlier today there was this person who, like, on all of their messages they put a star on the left and right part of the message, and I was thinking, like, I should copy paste that star and just start messaging Cameron and be like, "How are you doing?" and put like stars around it, so like, and just see how Cameron reacts. So even earlier today, I was considering, like, I should talk like this just for fun because it's not something I do, and just see the reaction I get. So it should be clear that when I talk that way, that's supposed to be like sassy or cheeky or like not being serious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand. It really, like, without that context, because you really have to understand that about you before making that conclusion. But inappropriate time to be cheeky.
Yeah, it is. You're right. That was a stupid time to be cheeky. You got me.
I think for me and a lot of people, the Snapchat conversation basically seals it. And I think after hearing this, most people's opinions on Dev are made up. I could end a video here and we could all go home. But the rabbit hole does indeed get that deep. You see, throughout the course of all of this, the minor, Anne, was talking to every involved party and recording all interactions. I have no doubt in my mind that she has more stuff than I do. There would be a repeated pattern of behavior where the minor was gung-ho about a particular position, and sometimes being on both ends of the issue about Yandere Dev simultaneously. For example, gathering info on Dev and giving it to others while also being in a position of not wanting to do the video or ruin him publicly, and various other things. She would also deliver false evidence to involved parties, poisoning the well. Now, I understand she's a minor, but this is going to go beyond normal. There are a few other aspects that I will lay out. The most important aspect of this is that in October, Cameron came to me and played a recorded call between him and Anne, as the two got into contact. At the same time, Dev would be losing his Discord account. All the while, Allie had put out her video. And the narrative was starting to talk about how Dev was talking inappropriately with a minor. Which, let's address that one. Yeah, he did. Me pointing out the issues with everything else does not negate the fact that Dev is what everybody seems to think, and in my opinion, he is. On top of that, everybody being a liar doesn't negate the evidence we see in these Snapchat DMs. I think it's pretty cut and dry. From the jump after this, my news team was active, researching the involved parties. It was at this time I learned Allie was formerly a fan who tried out for Yandere Sim. When I found out Allie had been hyping this video for months, since roughly July, I was livid at hearing that. Kiwi Farms also got on it very, very fast. But Anne's pedo baiting and 4chan behavior was also relayed to me at this current time, roughly around the same time Kiwi Farms found out. Basically, Anne would do pedo baiting for money and gifts and extort it out of people. Which, by the way, she also tried doing that to Yandere Dev as well.
I saw her make a tweet saying how she was still talking to you and that she was going to fleece you for like Sims 4 DLC.
That's pretty fucking weird. I draw the line at being like extorted. So like she like mentioned like buy me Sims 4 DLC and I'm like no. And I was wondering, is she joking or is she being serious? Because I do get the vibes that it's not a joke and she actually thinks she can just literally straight up extort me like it's normal to her. Like it's as natural as breathing to her.
That's outrageous enough, but Anne will repeatedly go back and forth on the legitimacy of these claims. The story often changes and she poisons the well, saying that it was or wasn't her or was people impersonating her. So it's hard to sort out the reality. In my opinion, she did do pedo baiting and may very well be doing these things now. I've heard 3 separate stories related to her pedo baiting, and her motive would change each time. She, for some reason, is repeatedly involved in alleged crimes related to CSAM and pedos. This isn't a coincidence, this is a constant pattern of behavior, and it would be putting other minors at risk as well as Anne herself. Hearing the call with Cameron is the first time that the story is laid out to me, and the one I am inclined to believe based mostly on Anne's behavior.
There was something I remember you telling me, right? In one of our first calls about this Jane girl, right?
Yeah.
About her either like running fucking honeypots against pedophiles. And then it comes out. And I see a bunch of these like fucking TikTokers and fucking anti-Yandere Dev people running gay ops to keep this from getting out, right? Now you tell me that before it's public. And now it is public.
I knew about it from the beginning. It's crazy.
So you're telling me she told you that?
She she sent me that whole sheet. I didn't know what a honeypot was, to be fair. I'm a nice boy, okay?
She sent you that.
Yeah, she sent me the uncensored image. Jelly's honeypot. And
okay, because I don't have definitive proof yet of her age. I have people looking into it.
I have it.
Do you have definitive proof of her age?
I have her ID.
Is that the ID that's been on Kiwi Farms?
Nope, that's a Photoshop version of it.
Is she an adult?
Nope, she is 16 years old. February something 2007.
Okay, like this is a crime. You realize that she's in that's a crime.
Yeah. I've been low-key protecting her because she's a teenager. Because we've all done dumb shit.
Oh, okay, you realize we're way past that, right?
I know shit. The honeypot shit's a crime. Like that's like federal. It's fucked.
Well, if she's a minor, this needs to be reported.
I know.
And if
her dad knows about it.
If you're sitting on this, that needs to be reported.
Her dad knows about it. That's the thing. I said, "Does your dad know about it?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, what did he say?" He doesn't care. Well, then the dad needs to get locked up. You know what I mean? It's like, but she's also running like cannabis, like growing cannabis in her house, and catfishing. Like she's got a ring of like pedophiles that she gets money from.
Do you have evidence of any of this from her or at all?
From DM conversations, yes, I do. But Discord DMs, I don't know if that's going to be admissible in court.
Yes, those are.
They are, okay.
Okay. I put in a tip when I found her location, but Cameron, if you're not going to put in a report to the FBI, I checked. Allie hasn't. None of them have. I don't want to be the YouTuber who knows and then doesn't put it in. Okay, so either you're putting it in or I'm putting it in.
I mean, I'm away from the feds. I'm chilling. I'll give it to you, absolutely. But is this going to encompass the Yandere Dev shit, or does this have nothing to do with the Yandere Dev shit?
Well, her character needs to be addressed in the video. I can't see it not getting addressed in the video.
No. I'm saying, like, are you reporting the Yandere Dev shit to the FBI or her actions in general?
You and I both know that already went to the police.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure the case is already dropped.
Right. I checked. I haven't checked California because I haven't checked where Dev lives yet.
I checked. I haven't. There's no case. There's submitted case. There's no case.
Yeah, there's like a submitted report, but there's no like active investigation.
Nah, they don't give a fuck.
All right. Well, listen, if you're worried about putting this into the feds because they will come back and contact you, like I can't not report this to the feds.
I don't have time for any of that, but I will absolutely forward all my information to you because, number one, I trust you. I don't want to botch it because I don't have experience. I'm sure this isn't your first rodeo. So I'd be more than willing to forward that shit to you, buddy.
Shortly after hearing that, the conversation went back to trying to negotiate the Yandere Dev interview for a little bit. But essentially, I had been asking for proof that this girl ran honeypots, and she would coach her friends on how to do it as well, holding CSAM in a drive, all in an attempt for her to get money, food, or gifts out of blackmailing pedophiles. The CSAM of the people she knew has come up again in recent days, by the way. In short, she denies these claims, saying that it's actually now Allie who is blackmailing Anne, the minor. Cameron would go on to make good on this, and he sent me an MP3 file titled smokinggun.mp3. I will now play this clip for you in full.
Really? That's crazy. So then I made the HoneyPot rules with the most frequently asked questions.
So you didn't run one, but
I didn't run
you coached people on how to run one.
it. Yeah.
Other underage girls?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just my friends.
And how
Be
did...
like, hey, I'm talking to this guy. He plays a lot of World of Warcraft. And I was like, oh, really?
So it was more of like a harem of honeypots.
Kinda.
That's even worse.
I just did whatever I wanted with my friends.
Yeah, but couldn't you guys have, like, traded, like, Barbie dolls? Or done whatever
What
fucking...
15-year-old plays with Barbie dolls?
What 15-year-old runs honeypots and, like, a illegal crime shit on the internet?
15-year-old boys do illegal crimes on the internet all the time. Feels like maybe you're just being sexist, Cameron.
Okay. I would never admit to that. I wouldn't openly tell people. How many years did you run that honeypot for? Like, how young were you?
From 13 to 15.
Jesus Christ!
What?
That's really fucking young. Like, you're underdeveloped?
Well,
Like, there's no question of that.
I wasn't supervised, and it was COVID, so I wasn't in school doing anything.
Oh, that doesn't make it much better. I mean, I can't say it's I directed at you. It's just like, what kind of people would engage?
Unsupervised ones. Where are my earbuds? There they are.
Why would people engage in that though? Like, why would people?
I'm so tired this morning.
Why would people come to you and do it? I don't know.
I need to do something.
Did your parents ever find out?
I feel so sleepy. Yeah, when the FBI came here.
What did they say?
They were like, hey, you're not in any trouble. We just need to know the names of these guys. And I was like, oh, really? Here's my entire docs file on all of them. And they were like, wow, this is extremely helpful. If you have any more information, you should text it to me.
So, when the FBI comes back, or came back, they didn't get mad at you for continuing it?
No. I'm doing their job for them. I'm literally doing the hard part.
You got a corrupt police system.
Well, what do you mean?
Like, they should
Do
be
you not
doing...
want that cops should get us?
No, I do want them to, but they should be doing these operations themselves.
the situation of pedophiles needs to be evaluated. It needs to be like on a case by case basis.
Well, generally speaking,
Because as you're seeing right now, if they came back and investigated me, Dev would go to jail even though he doesn't deserve that. He just fucked up a little bit.
I don't think he would. Because with people like Allie involved, it's pretty much clear-cut entrapment. Because whether you want to or not, I've seen the images of her trying to coach you into saying certain things. The second an adult gets involved and coaches a minor into doing those things, it turns into entrapment. Not defending what he did. Not at all.
Okay, so here's how it's laid out to me right now. From the ages of 13 to 15, this young lady ran a Discord server coaching other minors on how to entrap pedophiles, or how the story goes. She's apparently really skilled in this and is a self-admitted skilled doxer. And in that voice recording mentions how the FBI dropped by to take her notes and dox files. Cameron was very critical of her at this time in the story, and he kind of wanted to see justice done, and ultimately helped save the face of his friend Dev. Let's address much of this clip piecemeal. I think first off, it's not the full clip. Cameron has it, and it may have left out vital context, and I think that is worth mentioning. Two, let's mention Allie's involvement, because now we know that Anne does do these things regularly. Allie repeatedly denied an active involvement in helping Anne get info on Dev. On one hand, Anne doesn't need Allie's help, but from Allie's perspective at the time, Anne is an innocent actor who's never done anything like this. Allie, during the course of the video script, dropped a video basically washing her hands of the story and leaking literally everything. Which, Allie, I think that's incredibly cowardly and hilarious, but she is in over her head. Allie is a nanny by trade, and her having such close involvement in this is quite frankly alarming. Funny enough, many of the calls were released in full with the info redacted, including blurred messages of Anne and Allie that I believe allude to Anne and Allie being collaborators rather than Anne being a source. Because I have the undoctored clips. Yeah, Allie, I have them, and I can read your DMs between you and Anne. Now, the calls I am going to show you have Anne's face blurred. Her name is out there, so there's no point in me not using it and using her screen name. However, her face is a bit rarer. Otherwise, you'll be able to see all of this. And yeah, it is absolutely creepy. These clips hold double duty of both being an example of how unnervingly creepy Yandere Dev is, but also how Jelly, Anne, is asking leading questions to get Dev to respond to past allegations or get him in a gotcha that would be great for Allie's video. Anne is fully aware of Dev's history and is actually very good at questioning him. Remember, by this time in the story, she had already been talking to Allie for months. She was now recording this knowing full well it would become a video at the end.
This is... I don't want it to be something that you're going to get mad at me for asking.
Okay, go ahead. Just go ahead.
I'm really nervous too. Because, like, I want you to know that no matter what the answer is, I kind of don't care. I should care, but I don't. I'm just kind of curious. There was, like, a girl forever ago, and she said that stuff between you and her happened when she was 14. Is that, like, true stuff? I'm just kind of curious.
Nope. There's a whole story behind why that accusation even exists, but it's like it takes a million years. I could send you like a text explanation of it, but telling the whole story with voice is such a pain in the ass. I'd rather not even. I'd rather not talk about it if I could just explain it with text that's already been written.
I understand. It's okay. It's okay. I was just curious. I just wanted a yes or no answer. I don't care why she did it. I just wanted to know.
There was no girl. There was a guy who made a Tumblr page where he made up the fake identity of a 14-year-old girl. And he said, "Oh my God, like I knew Yandere Dev when I was 14. He said this and this and this to me. Oh my God." It's like an internet troll posing as a 14-year-old girl. Like I could go to Tumblr right now and make a blog and say, "Oh my God, when I was 14, PewDiePie raped me," and like I'd probably get a bunch of clicks and views. "Oh my God, Mr. Beast, he touched my pussy." Because it's like you put the name of a huge creator into the title of your whatever, and you can just get attention. And there wasn't even any proof or evidence on the blog. People just ran with it.
I did see that there was no proof. That's why I thought I would just ask, because like there was nothing like there. I would just yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, trust me. Elon Musk, he molested me. It was horrible.
He diddles kids.
I have no proof or evidence, but just trust me, bro.
On jaw.
On jaw, on jaw. No cap. We straight bussin'.
So this is related to a past allegation that originated on Tumblr. This is outside the scope of this video, but what bears mentioning is that getting a different answer here would have been the ultimate gotcha. Again, Anne knew about this going into the call and had planned on asking it, or at least that's how it appears here. Now, she might say that that just came up and she just thought of it, but it's almost too perfect of a question.
I really don't.
We should watch shows together.
You're cute. You're cute. You put your hands on your hips.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that's like my seriousness stance. Like I mean,
Oh, you're
you
adorable. Mm-hmm.
know? Okay.
I get what you're saying, but that's any time that is spent watching a show could have or should have been spent being productive and making progress.
Okay, but also, you can't keep being productive if you're just gonna work yourself to like total super duper depression, and that is really gonna suck. You're not gonna be able to like get out of bed or anything. You're just gonna lay there being sad, and you need to prevent that. You need to take other steps.
Well, I kind of sort of am. The steps that I'm taking to proactively fix my situation are to work on the game more hours than I previously was, so that it gets done faster, so that I can move on to do other things with my life.
Well, what other things are you planning to do?
I want to make other types of video games, not just this one type.
The fighting one. There was like a fighting one.
Oh yeah, that's
I
true.
remember that.
What are you doing with your finger there?
I'm thinking. These are. Am I thinking?
You're so cute.
What? No, because like when you think and then your brain is working and you're
You're so fucking cute.
what?
Pat, pat. Pat, pat, pat. You're adorable.
I appreciate all the pats.
Now, I should mention the ironic comedy here is that Anne is right. I should mention she's in Allie's Discord server as of August 9th, 2023. We can see it over here on the left-hand side of her Discord, as well as being a member of the No Text-to-Speech Discord, which is a channel dedicated to using Discord as a power user. I should mention this because I believe she's also using a modded Discord client. So she has more than she lets on, and I will show evidence of it being a modded Discord later. Addressing what's in the clip, Dev's needless "you're adorable" and "pat pat" send me into a righteous fury, the likes of which the Emperor must have felt when he slew Horus. The clips in context are just as bad as if they were out of context. So yes, Yandere Dev's apology makes no sense, regardless of anything he says. In this call, after discussing work-life balance with a 16-year-old, the 35-year-old man was asked the OnlyFans question. And yes, he was asked, not he asked.
Because if I work less than this established pace, then that means I am now slacking. I am now being lazy and working less, and then people would stop supporting me. I would lose my income.
Why can't you start OnlyFans?
Okay, let's just hypothetically imagine I have an OnlyFans. Now, what do I post on the OnlyFans?
What everyone posts on their OnlyFans? I don't want to say.
You mean like just naked pictures of me? I don't think I'm good looking enough for anyone to want to subscribe to my OnlyFans. It's just not going to happen. Yandere Dev opens his OnlyFans. He gets one subscriber. It's just someone who wants to laugh at him, and that's it.
Okay, honestly, people would sub just for the meme, and you would still be making all that money. You could do what Belle Delphine did with her bathwater.
Tap water that tap water that has been put into a bottle. Tap water that has been put into a bottle labeled bathwater.
She's so hot.
She is hot, yeah.
I thought she was really attractive, and then she got a boob job, and now I don't know. The magic is kind of lost. No, I feel weird. 'Cause, I don't know. I don't know. I think. I don't know what I think. I have a lot of things in my head, like all the time.
The only thing I think I could provide, like if I was to ever provide erotic services, it would be ASMR. A lot of people tell me that they like my voice and they want to hear me. Oh, that's nice of you to say. And a lot of people say, like, when are you gonna do erotic ASMR?
You should.
I don't know. Then maybe the number of supporters I would lose would be greater than the number of people I would gain who want to pay for that.
Like a secret account.
There's something important to remember there. If I am identified by my voice, then if I have a erotic voice ASMR thing, then people are gonna immediately know, hey, that's Yandere Dev. I've heard his voice for 70 million hours. I know who that is. Plus, it's never going to get noticed unless I advertise it under my name of Yandere Dev.
I feel like people wouldn't leave just because you're like whispering stuff. Like, what would you whisper? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just kind of thought that OnlyFans was like, easy money, but I guess it is different for a guy.
Regardless of who started it, Dev should not be engaging in this kind of conversation with a minor at all. It's reprehensible, deplorable, and disgusting. Furthermore, it's hilarious how Yandere Dev walked into all of these things, not realizing he was being set up. I mean, shit, he became just as chummy with me over the course of this fucking story. The guy can't help but say exactly what he shouldn't to the exact wrong people. Anyway, allow me to plug myself. This video took like 5 months, which, by the way, over this time I haven't been paid for even more months, as my YouTube MCN hasn't paid me and still owes me back pay. I have a second channel video about this. I like doing these investigative pieces and they take a long time, so support me by becoming a member on YouTube or heading over to Patreon. Let me know if you guys would like to see as far as rewards go. I have a video about interviewing people up like either now or this week on the Patreon, so hey, it's good if you're interested in the journalism thing. Anyway, let's get back to the video. The conversation that Anne and Dev have goes on, and you probably saw this clip elsewhere as well.
You don't have like assets,
Assets.
assets.
Pat, you're cute and funny.
Let's call it like.
When you turn 18, are you going to start an OnlyFans?
God, no.
Well, how can you recommend that someone else do it if you wouldn't even be able to do it yourself?
Well, I have like a career path in mind where I'm going to have yeah, I don't know. I get calls from recruiters a lot because I was in JROTC, so yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. So I get calls from recruiters all the time, and they're like, "Hey, when you turn 17, so you can sign your contract, and then we'll get you started when you're 18." Or sometimes you can join when you're 17, like with the National Guard. Oh my God, I really want to do that. That's what all my friends did, but then they graduated because they're seniors. Well, they're not seniors anymore. They're just like regular adults who live outside of high school and do adult things.
Again, the moron just walks into these things. Allow me to go on a tangent here, but if you were going to entrap someone like Yandere Dev, you need to do your homework and know a little bit about the guy. The guy has a long history with his fetishes online, and you could use that as a basis for aiming discussion in a way that would get him to respond. I doubt Anne is methodical about this, but in my opinion, she just has a knack for it. She gears the conversation towards breast, of which Yandere Dev likes them big. There's plenty of history to dedicate towards that. He even allegedly may or may not have owned a sex doll with big old titties. I mean, it's really easy to get him to say ridiculous things.
I'm only 5'11". I'm barely I barely meet the cutoff criteria for being a human in your eyes.
No, you're above 5'6". You're fine.
Okay, what if I told you I'm only interested in girls with double D breasts? Anything less than that is just not attractive.
Well, I mean, like, that's your preference, but do you understand how cup sizes work?
No. The big as a girl's head. I want them big as a girl's head.
Okay. I can work with that because I have what are considered, these are K cups. Isn't that crazy? Because my rib cage is 24
you're so skinny?
inches. Yep.
So it's like the ratio of the bust compared to. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So double D's on me would be like nothing. Non-existent.
Wow. Yeah, you're very skinny, and that's kind of hot.
Oh. Okay. Thanks.
Sorry, am I a bad guy for saying that? Should I go die?
No, you should. You should definitely.
Sorry.
You should stay here, for sure. Sorry, now I'm like embarrassed. I don't know what to say. Thank you. Yeah, I don't really try. Like, I eat a lot. I just have a stomach problem, I guess.
Oh.
This guy's cooked. Yandere Dev's cooked. There's no way he's not cooked, right? It's just not going to happen. I should mention a little bit before this, Anne was having a discussion with someone, assumedly a young man, based on a quick Google search, and in these DMs they're discussing herpes. It's a conversation that comes up a bit later with Dev, actually. The conversation is as follows. Quote, "If you say so, but don't get yourself in trouble." Anne responds, "Lol, I never do. He just started saying he has a skin condition that looks like, but isn't the same as herpes. Hell no, not meeting him, He responds, "Yeah, I wouldn't meet ever. Ew, herpes. Nasty," followed by 2 highs. Now, this conversation seems pretty innocuous, so why do I mention this? I mentioned this conversation because the herpes conversation did come up later. I don't know if this is related to Dev, but Anne did share her notes with people, and she would brag about this in Discord servers. So much so that many an online friend did know about what was going on, especially in Bug's Discord. For example, in a separate recorded call, a friend received Snapchat recordings of cosplay fan who is Yandere Dev. Shortly after showing these Snapchat recordings to a friend, it seems that Jelly and Dev would call, and they seemed to have an agreement to delete DMs. I should go on to mention her screen name now is Agent Jellyfish, as she's taken a liking to doing investigative work. I should also mention it's late September, and now there are rumors and leaks regarding Anne and Dev. Again, I would begin investigating this 48 hours later on the 20th. Around this time, the rumor had already begun spreading publicly, and Dev is on call with the minor. Still, despite there being a public discourse about it.
How are you?
It's an average day for me.
Yeah, my day's been. Oh God. It's been. Well, you know how it's been.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, that sucked. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I don't know. I feel like I should have been the center of attention.
The clip will go on to show the context of what they're talking about here. Dev and Anne were discussing a guy Anne was with, and Dev is offering up his quote-unquote wisdom.
Yeah. How old is that guy?
He's 17.
Yeah. When I was 17, the only thing I could think about was girls. So I would not have spent any time whatsoever playing video games if there was a girl on my bed.
Yeah, literally. Like, yeah, it kind of pissed me off. No, it didn't kind of piss me off. It really pissed me off.
Yeah, you're justified in being pissed off about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm a girl, and he's a teenage boy. All his attention should be on me.
I feel it bears worth mentioning now that Anne constantly speaks out of both sides of her mouth. I think the stuff with Cameron that we'll explore later exemplifies this. But while I have all of these recordings, there's a whole set of recordings I know Cameron and Anne have between them, and as well Anne and Allie. So we'll get to all of that in due time. In the meantime, Dev is digging even more of a hole for himself. So let's see where this boy talk goes.
Like, I was laying there, and he said he was busy? That's ridiculous.
Busy. Nothing should take higher priority than hot girl.
No, literally. Like, he can yell slurs at his TV any other time. Why does it have to be when I'm there?
Yeah, precisely.
You know, I bet Dev thought he was real slick with the hot girl comment there, but just so everyone knows, she's 16. The conversation will develop further to discuss an issue Anne had at her school. She accuses a member of JROTC of sexual harassment that ended up getting her in trouble. Again, she always seems to be embroiled in these sex crimes. Furthermore, in a related tweet that she made on Twitter on her account, she accused the practice of dentistry of being full of molesters.
Physical school. I'm going to physical school until another thing goes wrong. If another thing goes wrong, yeah, I will not be allowed to go back there. But my dad had fun screaming at my principal, so I'm allowed there still.
So, like, you know, there was a guy, the JTOC. What's the acronym?
JROTC, that's our group chat for Junior Reserves Officer Training Corps. It's military stuff. But yeah.
The military dude was sexually harassing you, and you reported it. And he did not get in trouble, and you got in trouble?
Yeah, no, he didn't get in trouble. They said that I was defaming him because I had no proof. And when I showed them the proof, they said, we're not talking about that right now.
What the? That's kind of
know,
stupid.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. Okay, so like I wasn't totally honest with you. I did get in trouble for a thing that I said, not necessarily for reporting it. When she told me, we're not talking about that, focus on yourself, I said, why are you such a postmenopausal bitch? And that was like a you know. Because she had said earlier, like, I'm the adult, and I was like, what does that have to do with anything? Being an adult doesn't make you right, it just makes you old and wrong. So, whatever.
Now, I should mention, she goes in a roundabout way to accuse Cameron of sexual assault later in the story, when she contacted me via Twitter message request. However, this will be much later in the story, so let's keep moving between Dev and Anne and seeing how deep Dev is digging the grave. The discourse about Dev is brewing, but later on in this particular call, Anne screenshots an example of code that Dev drafted up and sent it to Bug, who is a coder, showing yet again that Anne is repeatedly sharing information with people involved in this.
Still alive, what the fuck? Oh, I see. That, and then, you know, the developer will have to go in here, edit one part of the code, and then it's fixed. So a bug happens because a developer forgot something.
From this, we can actually see a bit of their conversation, which I believe is about information Anne had leaked to Bug. It reads to me like maybe they're discussing the leaking of information via TikTok. I believe the end of this screenshot is Bug as they use an iPhone. So I figure maybe this is a TikTok draft, though this is more speculation, but it seems they're discussing the releasing of some sort of leak. Bug states, I actually don't think I should post it. It might do more harm than good. And responds, I like it. I think you can post it if you want to. Quote, people are gonna hate me for this one, Bay. Will you defend me? Of course, but I have school tomorrow. Real. I may go to sleep and I can't defend you while I'm in history. True. Then right after this, Anne shares the coding screenshot, which Bug promptly answers, mocking the code. From that, we learned that Bug was aware of this call going on at this current point in time. Based on the follow-ups from there, Bug then asked to join Ali MCC's community Discord, which Anne obliges.
I guess I just never saw that as a bad thing. Like, to work on one project for a long time. I'm okay with it because every day I get a message from someone saying, hey, I really enjoy the game you're making, keep up the good work. So I feel like I'm doing something that's not bad and that it's okay to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And it was here that it all came together, ladies and gentlemen. It was from this moment I got the earth-shattering DMs of Ali and Anne. That's right. While these messages are redacted in the Ali recordings that were released by Ali, I have these undoctored messages. And I went through the whole thing, and boy oh boy did it change my perception of Ali right the fuck away. Now this leak is absolutely eye-opening, okay? Because much like Dev seemed to have editorial oversight on Anne's Google Doc when she made an apology or statement or whatever the fuck you want to call it, Anne seemed to have editorial oversight on Ali's reporting. Anne/Jelly was actively collecting information in these messages. It's pretty easy to see. She wasn't a victim and a source. She was a collaborator. Here you have Anne and Ali discussing other potential victims and whether or not to send that information over for the video. Yeah, of course this woman didn't need to teach Anne how to get information. She was doing perfectly fine on her own and had this fucking minor doing legwork for her video. Even more so, Ali speaks in we terms as if Anne is a collaborator in this story. She's a source and should not have this much oversight, period. End of conversation. At this point, Ali was completely unaware of how much of a bad actor this young lady was. But let's keep exploring these DMs. Oh, I get the feeling we're gonna need a follow-up video. Funny. Yeah, weird how that worked out. Yeah, I bet you were real gung-ho about it right up until the point when you found out about Jelly's e-brothel. Even better, Ali mentions the spy-themed name change in these DMs. However, the most damning piece of collaborative evidence here is related to the Yandere Dev's victim email account, which other alleged victims were emailing their stories to. The person who ran that email account, the minor, Anne would then feed these stories to the YouTuber Ali, of which in these DMs, Anne shares the password to Ali so she can take over the account. Again, Ali had been working on this video since the summer of 2023, collecting evidence on Yandere Dev with the help of this minor the entire time. Even better, Ali actively asked Anne to get her friend in the Yandere Simulator Discord to record this Discord server for the video. Okay, so now you're asking the minor to go get people to get things for you. Okay, great. A funny anecdote about the emails and the people reaching out to tell their stories is Mike Hawk, who is allegedly an anonymous victim of Yandere Dev that they talk about in the DMs. Apparently, they got in contact with the Yandere Dev victim account, which then put them in contact with Allie. You know, the hilariously serious pseudonym, Mike Hawk, who's a dear good friend of I.C. Wiener and Seymour Butts. Ironically enough, Allie also moonlights at Moe's Tavern, apparently. Oh, here we learn about the Phasmophobia plan, right? Something I yelled at Allie for was this batshit insane Phasmo plan, which would have seen Anne, Dev, and Allie all playing Phasmophobia together. The reasoning of which I have no fucking clue. Alternatively, it may have just been Anne and Dev on a live stream, which yes, they wanted it on a live stream, which I doubt would happen, but either way, the only reason you'd put all of them in a call together is either to prove that they were in a call and that this was real, or to place Dev in like the mother of all Discord sting operations.
And I know Jane, before she flipped on here, she wanted to do like a gotcha kind of intervention thing with Yandere Dev and you.
You mean like a confrontation?
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of, or
yeah, like a confrontation or something.
not really. The only thing closest to that, I think, was she had the idea of like, because if he, once the video came out, tried to say like, oh, I never knew her, whatever, she wanted to try to, back when he still had a Twitch account, she wanted to try to get him to play Phasmophobia or something with her on his stream, just so there would be something on his platform with her voice, so he couldn't try to, do the same thing he did with SysFs and try to deny her existence or something like that. And she had mentioned the possibility of like asking me to come along just as like moral support, but we weren't going to do anything sort of like on his stream, oh, we have this against you, whatever. We were just going to do like normal games or something just to kind of establish that, she's a real person. They have interacted, just to kind of preemptively prevent him trying to, I don't know, try to lie his way out of it or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that never ended up actually happening.
Yeah.
The conversation is 16 screenshots long, and you can see it all in order now for your viewing pleasure. I did find a lot of comedy in finding all of this redacted in the recordings released by Allie. Can't make a follow-up, but you can cover your ass, and I find that incredibly hilarious. Because yes, this would recontextualize everything Allie said in her response video that she put out when she dropped the Google Drive. Because it makes her look bad. Because it's a stupid thing to do. Because she's a moron and an idiot. I don't like her very much, if you couldn't tell, chat. Why am I saying chat? I stream too much. And the further I get into this script, the more of a moron Dev appears to be. So I don't know why people keep calling him a master manipulator. The fact he never once noticed he was getting worked over is wild. This is the same call, right? And it has a lot going on, but anyone with half a brain can see he's being recorded here based on the questions she's asking. Because in reality, they would have worked this all out. They would have had conversations about this before. But hey, that's just me editorializing. Either way, great questions to ask if you want to try and get Dev, right?
Okay. So I know that the official ages are 18, but like, is it high school?
No, it's a post-high school academy.
Huh. So how old is everyone?
Everyone's 18.
Just like 18 or like 18 plus?
Everyone there's like adults, like the teachers are older than 18. The headmaster is like 60, but all the students are 18.
Oh, that's weird.
Cause is it like a little sister? Is that the
There,
blonde one?
a brother and a sister can both be like 18 if there's like, there has to be at least 9 months between them, but there's 12 months in a year. So a woman could give birth twice in 1 year.
That's true, but she would have to really. Yikes. She would not be waiting long after recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay, that works, that works. I guess. I don't like it though. I feel like high school age makes more sense.
It would make more sense, but then everyone would complain, oh my god, the characters are under 18, so I have to contrive a story that makes them over 18 or 18 or older.
I mean, I gotta applaud Anne here. In an alternate reality, she'd make a great Fed. So the gotcha here would have been getting Dev to admit that these characters in Yandere Simulator are minors. Ergo, more evidence that he is a pedophile. But what she got was a good second place gotcha. Speaking of, after this is where you get the Mother Nature sexualizes minors line. It's another Dev is creepy as hell moment. So let me just say, if you didn't feel the recordings of Dev were bad before, yeah, it gets worse. This is immediately after that last portion is played, by the way. So it's from one horrifying conversation to another.
Because everyone gets so mad about kids. Because, like, you can't sexualize minors. And, like, yeah. I mean, you can't disagree with that without sounding like a creep. So, there's nothing I could really say about that.
Mother Nature sexualizes minors. Puberty starts to give breasts and wide hips to children before they turn 18. It's not like, a person does it to a child. The child's own body does it to themselves. It's not like an adult can go to a child and cast a magic spell that gives them breasts. Haha, I've sexualized you. I gave you breasts. And the child is like, no. No, the child just does it. The child's body does it automatically. A child gradually becomes an adult over time because of puberty.
Yeah,
It's
I get what
biology
you're
is doing it.
saying.
What, does it sound silly when I phrase it like that?
It sounded really silly.
But it's true, though.
No, it was the wizard thing when you were imitating the child. You
I mean,
you cut off in the middle of the note, and it sounded really funny. God, I wish I could clip that.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, some things you say, and I don't know. You have really good audio potential for TikTok. You should record yourself saying silly things.
In some respects, you can understand what he's trying to say, right? Puberty can make people look like adults. But he also describes it in the same manner a serial killer would describe it. And, of course, drops a hint that she's recording as well, and I find that mighty funny. Shortly after this, Dev makes a completely inappropriate joke about masturbation, which is creepy, followed by the Phasmo discussion, where Anne tries to get him to play the game.
I'm unable to do this weekly challenge in Phas. It is so hard.
What's the weekly challenge? Don't masturbate.
Oh my god!
Well, feel free to correct me.
That. Okay, yeah, no, the weekly challenge in Phasmophobia, there's like no evidence.
Oh, it's a Phasmo thing.
Yeah.
You be Phasing that no.
You're so silly.
How dare you ever accuse me of being silly? How could you?
'Cause you just are. What is on my bed? Is this Allegra? Okay, it's Allegra on my bed. Where is my Midol? Why do I want Midol? Oh, for my headache. Because it has caffeine in it, so it's just like Tylenol and coffee. Yeah, so that I can continue staying up all night playing Phasmophobia. We really should play together, though.
One of these days.
So, in my opinion, Yandere Dev may end up on a list, right? I think we're all pretty set on that. But I understand me saying these things about Anne is really strong. So let me really contextualize Anne. There'll be a bit more to come, but since I'm covering these calls and everything in chronological order, shortly after this, she does share that her father bought her hentai. Cameron would later on tell me a story about she would end up pedo baiting because apparently this was at the behest of her mother, who is no longer in the picture.
My parents are vastly different. My dad bought me my first hentai. That was so silly. He bought me the weirdest one so that I would stay away from it because he went the reverse psychology approach where he was like, "Here, kid, watch this totally normal thing." And I watched it and it scarred me. It was terrible. Then he was like, "Are you ever going to watch that stuff again?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. That was disgusting." So it worked.
Huh. That's one way to do it, I guess.
He does a lot of that. Or like drugs. Like he gave me the strongest edible I've ever had ever. And he was like, "So are you going to do drugs?" And I was like, "Hell no." And it did work for a while until I turned 16.
Wow.
The issue with Anne is that any of these stories or none of these stories could be true. I'm certain a lot of Anne's character was made at birth, but she also reminds me a lot of what happens to abused kids. I don't think this gets to give her a free pass on doing these things. She poisoned the well beyond reason, in my opinion, put herself and other minors at risk, and blackmailed and extorted plenty, including trying to label Allie as just as bad as, like, criminals, which she's an idiot, not a criminal. The thing is, people like Anne are very multifaceted and make up a lot of parts that make a broken and, in my opinion, dangerous person. Another important thing worth mentioning, I am fully aware that federal agents are involved in her case as well as CPS. I'd stayed quiet about this for so long specifically because of that. Whether or not they followed through on her is anyone's guess. I'm critical of her, and I think she's a huge problem, but she's a symptom of something larger. Anne is a mix of social media vigilantism, abuse, and hell, maybe plain old narcissism or sociopathy a la Isabella Jank. I don't know for sure, but I do think she's dangerous, and I don't think it's any surprise that Allie got accused of extorting and having CSAM after she turned on Anne and leaked everything. The call that we're going through right now is pretty uneventful for a long time after this, by the way, right up until Allie's messages saying the video is almost done. The concept of Allie working on the video as Anne is in VC trying to outplay an alleged pedophile is absolutely outrageous. And at one point, Anne almost says how she has some banger audio before catching herself and deleting the message. Allie, at least, will get to all these calls tomorrow, though. Lots of updates and great audio clips, of which I would agree. These are all incredibly damning, and Dev has no way to ever come back from this. And these messages, well, these messages that I'm reading cook Allie just the same. And later on in this very call with Dev, will admit to doxing again, which is insane to say in this call with Yandere Dev, but she definitely has done it before. It seems to be the case, as she claimed to send doxes to the feds.
Okay, maybe like a really bad confession. I used to dox people who I would argue with. Like, yeah, we would be in an argument and they weren't listening to me, and like, they were like, "It's just my opinion." And I was like, "Your opinion disagrees with fact. You're just wrong. I'm not stating my opinion that you're wrong. It's objectively true. You're wrong." And they would be like, "No, I'm not." And I would be like, "Oh, really? This is your address." And then they would shut up.
So remember how I said I believe Anne is using a modded Discord client? Well, it's time to make good on that allegation. Dev and Anne make polite conversation about makeup and James Charles. Eventually, to exemplify her point, Anne shows a picture of James. Basically, some pictures are exchanged. And this is the result. Now, when you watch the clip, you might notice that those messages aren't deleted. When you delete something on Discord, both the sender and receiver lose access to it, except if you do something, except if you mod your Discord, of which there are many versions of it. You can actually see this discussed on No Text to Speech's YouTube channel, as he has multiple videos discussing a modded Discord, Vencord, and other Discord clients. In short, Vencord allows Discord to work with plugins, and one of the plugins is called Message Logger, which temporarily saves chat logs until you shut down or restart Discord. Meaning that while there was clearly an agreement to clear these chat logs, Anne would have access to the logs regardless of if they deleted them or not, as she would get ample time after the call to go and screenshot everything and anything she could possibly need. The call ends pretty uneventfully, but after this is the last bit of history before I get involved in the story as someone being an investigative gonzo guy. So there's some other calls I'll share here and there, but this helps you learn the history. And Allie. Now, Allie's probably watching this very video. Bet you want to know how I got all those undoctored calls, Allie, how I got your DMs. I asked my friend and streamer, Xylee Gets Real, to ask you for them. And while you never wanted to give me anything, you gave it to her. No questions asked. You know who asked her to ask you, Allie? Yeah, this stranger that came into your DMs. You just gave it to her. But it was me. It was me who asked her to ask you, and you just gave it to her. I also have a volunteer news team, of which you spoke with in the DMs about private information. We've been everywhere, Allie, watching you fuck up after fuck up and getting entangled in this story. You're an opportunist and an idiot. You were not just played by me. No. You were played by a 16-year-old extorting pedo baiter who ran a honeypotting community. And not once did you ever look up any of these things that it took my team to find in like hours. In the smoking gun clip I played earlier, for example, is Jane's honeypot FAQ. Yes, there was an FAQ on how to honeypot.
Really? That's crazy. So then I made the honeypot rules with the most frequently asked questions.
So you didn't run one, but
I didn't run
you coached people on how to run one.
it. Yeah.
Other underage girls?
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting how information changes as motives change over the course of the story, right? At the beginning of the story, I was told there was no physical proof that Yandere Dev sent a dick pic. Now, I've seen it all with Dev, right? There's no dick pic. Allie originally claimed to me it was testimony from Jane, which was a pseudonym she used for Anne. Now, I do want to state, it's clearly possible that a dick pic exists, yeah. Dev wouldn't give me any of his snap logs saying that they were incomplete, and frankly, I just don't buy that. And he had his accounts closed without any emails from Discord, which is not a good sign for him. Later on in this story, I would get in a very heated call with Allie as I caught her lying to me repeatedly. She gives me this ridiculous answer about the dick pic, saying, well, I can't confirm or deny it, which is what people say when they say that they want to say something exists without saying it. So it's incredibly funny for her to say that in this case, right? Because there was no dick pic in any of the leaks I got. And I don't know why Allie would have a gag order. I doubt she does. No one on my team who spoke with the feds for hours signed anything. There was no speech order. I haven't signed anything. And fuck, I wouldn't sign anything. I'd bet money that Allie didn't sign anything either. In fact, I really doubt that she spent that much time with the feds or shared anything with them on a regular basis. In Allie's info dump that she put out recently, there was no dick pic from Yandere Dev. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I don't know why she lied about that to me. It makes no fucking sense.
Because I feel like, wasn't there a dick pic, or was that or was there not?
With an active investigation, technically I can't confirm or deny, but she did allege that there was. And supposedly Alex has now admitted it to Cameron as well, from what I've heard.
So it's an active investigation?
Yeah. Because with so many... Because there were a lot of people, like, filing through the FBI tip line, you know, like some genuine reports, but then also some more stuff like, you know, he's actively physically assaulting a 9-year-old or something. So they, like, authorities eventually kind of had to step in, and then she has apparently been, she did like an interview or two with some investigators with the FBI or something along those lines.
Okay, during the course of this, right, Allie also picked up an extra girl along the way, looking to target Cameron, who we'll get to later, but let's knock down these targets one at a time. Let me introduce Krexa. Krexa appeared in this story at an opportunistic moment as the game had moved from honeypotting Dev to getting Cameron painted as something, of which he's a lot of things. He is something, in my opinion at least. But again, we'll get to that. But for Krexa, the plan never really came to fruition, as Krexa is kind of fucking crazy. Krexa would make a Reddit post accusing Cameron of domestic abuse and engaging in sociopathic behavior. Allie, funnily enough, tries to deflect her connection with Krexa in a call with me.
Who do you, do there's like another name that's been thrown around, Krexa. Do you know who that is? She's like a former Yandere Dev employee.
She reached out to me a while ago. I know she was like a voice actor, and I think Cameron's former roommate, however long ago.
So she reached,
That's the gist of it.
She reached out to you, but you didn't really follow up on it.
Not much. We kind of talked over text a bit, and she has wanted to talk some, but our schedules don't really align very well, so that hasn't been a whole lot of conversation there.
Now, Krexa herself has a pretty checkered history with former men, homelessness, mental illness, and a lot more that calls the girl unstable and into question, right? The police report my team and I got detail the previous Baker Act. This report is real. I am the reason the report leaked. Now, I don't know why Krexa would do this. For some godforsaken reason, Krexa called the report fake. Let me tell you how this got out. I can dictate the exact line of how that fucking happened. Cameron was begging me for him to give him information on the report, as at the time, there's a weird relationship that we'll look into between Cameron and Anne. Now, that seems to be the reason he wants the report so bad. Cameron and I had a discussion about his relationships with Krexa and Anne, by the way. This is how I ended up in Cameron's response video that you may or may not have seen. Nobody fucking watched it.
If I were you, it would be nice if you could just tell her the police report's real and that I'm watching Cameron's video now. Just so she calms down.
Because literally within 2 hours, she's like, Cameron, I can't be your messenger for this.
I know, but like, she knows that you have the report.
She knows I have the report, so she knows that I gave it to you and then you gave it to her.
She does not know that you gave it to me.
But you just said she knows.
She knows that you got it, though.
She knows that I got it.
She knows that you also got the report. I didn't let her know that I got it via you by proxy because I didn't want it to make it seem like you were trying to, I don't know.
What, help you? Because, brother,
I didn't want to make
some deep shit.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it seem like you were trying to, like, help the enemy or some shit, and for her to have a schizo moment and come out and try to come at you.
She says that he wouldn't let me out of his car. I had to try and scare him so he would take me home. What? He had on the child lock, and he would hug me whenever I tried to get to the front seat.
What?
He's planning on calling me and Krexa crazy.
No, I'm not. I feel like he barely mentions you. I'm literally watching his video. you told her the police report was legit?
Do I sound like I'm gonna tell her the police report is legit?
No.
Do I sound like I'm gonna be the messenger for you? Cameron, this is a girl you
Oh.
slept with, alright? This is your job to undo. Now, because Anne is playing both sides, she flips and gives this police report to Allie's party and then leaks it herself. Well, I had given it to Cameron and he gave it to Anne to prove it. And after that, that's when the report is called fake. Listen, one of my news team tried for like 3 days with the records department of Florida, and it took a long time for us to get it. Cameron could have gotten it himself as he had the event number, but I shared it with him because it was his report. Krexa could have gotten this too, by the way. She had complete access to it. There's no reason why she shouldn't be able to access it. I don't know why the moron shared it with Anne, though. Cameron is an idiot for doing that. I told him repeatedly that he shouldn't. But, you know, that would imply that I believe that he didn't fuck her, and he did. On the opposite side of this, I'm speaking with Allie to uncover this Anne-Cameron connection. So let's play the call when my relationship with Allie soured. By now you've heard 3 clips, one about the dick pic that may or may not exist, one about how Allie didn't have time to speak with Krexa, and the last about the Phasmo sting operation. Those questions were asked knowing the answer to them, and she lied, trying to cover her ass. And once I got her into gotcha, I dropped the nice guy routine. All right. I'm going to drop the pretense here, right? Here's how it looks to me, right? To me, it kind of looks like you might have had an active hand in trying to entrap Yandere Dev using a real minor, right? I have a call that allegedly includes you, Krexa, and Jane, where Krexa is encouraging Jane to record these calls and trying to get entrapping material on him. Any comment?
Well, I have been in deeper contact with Krexa. She has been wanting me to basically... She has some things she wants to get out about Cameron that I am still trying to look into and unsure if I'm going to pursue. That's not something that, you know, I really want to share with people because she also feels afraid. And again, I don't know like exactly how that's going to go or if I'm going to pursue it. So I'm not exactly planning to, you know, talk to people about that. Jane was interested in hearing Krexa's side of her story from when she was roommates with Cameron because Jane is still in contact with Cameron and supposedly he's been doing some very not good things with Jane. And so I facilitated a call between Krexa and Jane. Krexa did on her own encourage Jane to record things. That's not something I was really supportive of. I was in the call just to listen, but not participating. I had my mic muted the entire time. And I have never really encouraged Jane to maintain contact with either Alex or Cameron for any purposes. So,
Allie, when I asked you about Krexa earlier, you said, I didn't really have that many conversations with her. And now you're telling me you were in a call with her and Jane. Now, you didn't say anything, but Allie, you lied to me.
Understand that, and I do apologize for that, because like I said, it's...
No. You're lying because you don't want me to catch you, right? That's exactly fucking why.
No, it's not. It's because that's information that I don't know if I'm going to pursue
now,
yet.
Tell you what, you can stop there, right? Because I checked into the Krexa thing, and that's been settled out of court. So if you want to try and dig that up, go right ahead. But I'm telling you, I've looked into it.
Oh, well, I didn't know it had gone to court yet. So, like I said, I wasn't even I wasn't sure if I was going to pursue that because there were some things that I was hearing from Krexa that weren't really lining up with some other things I was hearing. So I do apologize for lying about that. But like I said, if it's not something that I'm certain yet if I'm going to pursue, then I didn't want it to be very known, especially with someone like, you who's in contact with Cameron and Alex and all them. I basically just was worried that information was going to get back to them and then they were going to try to spin it into something that it may never end up being, basically.
Allie, I've done news for a very long time, right? I'm not going to sell my integrity to fucking Yandere Dev of all people, okay? I'm not. It's just never been who I am, all right? I spent a long time working with abused children, right? This is stuff I care about. I know you are nanny. You said so on stream, okay? I hope you realize the implications of you, even if the reality of it is you just saying, well, I didn't really tell Jane to stop. Even if it's just that, you doing that implicates you in this. Do you realize that, right?
What do you mean I didn't tell her to stop? Like when she was recording Yandere Dev?
Yes.
She did that. Okay, so when she first messaged me, I did not encourage her to maintain contact with him. I suggested she cut contact with him. She said that she felt comfortable continuing, and I just said, I can't control what you do. Just set your boundaries, maintain them, and don't be afraid to stop whatever you want to do if he crosses a line. I never, ever encouraged her to maintain contact with him.
You do realize this. Okay, let's say that Yandere Dev is a pedophile, right? You realize you're just allowing a minor to talk with a fucking pedophile, right?
I'm not allowing anything because, as I said, I advised her to cut contact with him. There's nothing I can really do to stop her if she wants to continue. I've advised her that she shouldn't, but there's only so much I can do from behind a screen. If she wants to keep talking to him, then obviously there's not a whole lot I can do besides just advise her and give her my thoughts, which were that she should cut contact.
There's a tweet of you talking about it in like what, August, right? You were working on this for a couple of months. At no point did you
Mhm.
try to make a more conscientious effort to get this reported, to get the parents involved.
I didn't know how to contact her dad. I didn't even know her real name. I wasn't going to ask her real name because I didn't want that personal information. And I did recommend also that she take it to the police, but she said she didn't want to do that. She wanted to do it on her own time, and she wanted to wait until this upcoming summer when she wouldn't have to worry about school.
Let's see. I'm staring at a DM conversation of you right now between you and Jelly. Is there anyone else you've spoken to yet who's considering coming forward? No one's willing to come forward, says Jelly. I think people are still worried it'll be traced back to them and that he'll retaliate in some way. That's understandable. Hopefully that changes once the video comes out. Barring any last-second additions like the Phasmo recording, I think the video might be fully completed tomorrow. Oh, amazing. VCing right now. Wonderful things have been said. You're on voice call right now? Yeah. Is his mic actually working properly this time? Yeah. Are you recording at the moment? Instead of you sounding passive, this sounds like you're an active collaborator and getting information about Yandere Dev. Is that a wrong way to interpret that?
I believe so, yeah, because the first time she recorded, I didn't even know that the conversation was happening and that she was recording until it was already happening. We weren't planning to, like, do some type of sting operation. Like, I believe I was actually live streaming at the time. It was on a Sunday, and while I was streaming, she messaged me, like, she was messaging me snippets from Vocaroo of the recordings that she was doing. And then the only reason I asked if his mic was working, because in the second call his mic was echoing. And then in the first call, since she was recording through Vocaroo, there were parts that had gotten cut out, which she was upset about. And so, like I said, there might have been times where I gave her advice on, like, if she was set on recording, like, how to get a better recording, but I always told her she didn't have to do that, that she could just cut contact, and if she wanted to stay in contact with him, to just set and enforce her boundaries.
Allie, I'm cutting it with you real straight. I know I'm being real hard, right? But it the way it looks right now, it looks like you had an active participation in this. And there's plenty of information to show that. Okay? Now, here's another thing. Did you know about Jane's past, where she was doing all this, like, weird, like, trying to get shit out of pedophiles?
I did not know about any of that until after the video was posted, and I've talked to her about it, and she says it's not true.
That's interesting, because I have a Reddit post of Jane saying that exact thing is true.
Which Reddit post?
Here, hold on. I'll pull it up for you. Right. Yeah, she says... Oh, I'll just let you read it.
Oh yeah, that screenshot specifically she claimed has been edited because the top part of the spacing is different from the, like, bottom 2/3 spacing is inconsistent. So she told me that specific screenshot was edited or fake.
Okay. Well, if that's what she told you, she has a tendency to say things and can change a lot. I've heard that's both real and fake from her. But you're saying it's fake.
That's what she told me.
So you heard those 3 clips setting up this knockout, right? The dick pic, the Phasmo sting operation, and the Ali Krexa connection, right? Those questions were asked knowing the answer to them. And then here I am catching Ali lying. She's trying to cover her ass because I'm on it like white on rice. And once I got her in this gotcha, I dropped the nice guy routine. Because if you're not gonna play nice with me, why the fuck should I play nice with you? We don't like each other. Let's just get to the brass tacks. It's not fake. She'd bait pedophiles for money and food, gifts, as well as teaching other minors how to do it. Ali repeatedly listened to this minor, this child, despite her not being a reliable narrator at any point in this story. She willfully accepted recordings and leads from Anne, and the two worked together to build this story. In this call, it's funny how Ali even throws Krexa under the bus. but now has been trying to help Krexa get housing. I mean, if I was Krexa, I don't know why I would trust Allie with that at all. At the same time, Dev would become really open with me. In January, after Dev's apology dropped and was removed, I jumped in a call with him alone. This was supposed to be our on-the-record interview, and somehow the guy didn't think that I was recording the whole time. And yeah, I understand. I played everybody in this whole story, but everybody was recording me, so I would have been an idiot not to. So I asked the questions that everybody wants to know. Dev had opened a new community on Gilded, which is like a Discord competitor, and FYI, he and Anne were still talking frequently in the DMs, even on Gilded, so Dev isn't being fully honest with me about the reality of the relationship in this call, even though I also yet again warned this moron as well and every other moron that this girl was dangerous and a liar. But let's play that call.
I mean, I had saw you taking down your apology, and I was like, what happened? So I have a rumor for what I think happened, but like, what happened?
Oh. Have you ever heard of an information hazard?
Yeah.
The reason why the video was taken down is an information hazard. I can't give you that information. It would just cause more damage.
I mean, I was told that, what is it? Jelly, the minor, she was like, she got swatted or something, and it was like for her safety.
That's not 100% accurate, but it's in the ballpark.
So, what's not accurate about that?
Well, there was no SWAT team, although I think there's people trying to SWAT her or suggesting that it should be done.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely know her like address and all that stuff is out there now. It was somebody found it and posted it everywhere.
That sucks.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is there's another reason, but you don't want to say.
I can't really say. It's nothing that I feel reflects badly on me, but it does put another person at risk, so can't have it up. Sucks. Really wanted it to be up. I wanted to leave it up for at least a month and then go back to uploading development videos.
Is the other person that it puts at risk Cameron by any chance?
No, Cameron's not the one at risk.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I was curious because I was like, ah, shit, like what the fuck happened? And when I had went asking around, yeah, the only thing I got was that stuff about Jelly, but I was like, okay. I figured I'd give it some time before contacting you again. Yeah, okay. And then this is a fucking her apology. Right, that she had posted, by the way, right? People were saying that you like got it early.
She did allow me to take a look at it and provide my feedback before she posted it. Yeah. I guess a lot of people decided like, oh, this means he wrote the entire thing and forced her to post it with blackmail. And that's just fucking ridiculous. It's her words. She just let me give feedback before it was posted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had saw there was like what is it, like comments on the document or whatever.
Yeah, she let me write comments on it.
That girl, you know, she's not like around in your community anymore, is she?
Not as far as I know. I don't really want her to be in my community. I think that would just cause problems and drama. I think that would make people uncomfortable. Unless she's around on another username and is there in secret, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. She's an interesting one. Like, you know, when I go around talking to people, it's really interesting because like there's two camps here ultimately at the end of the day, right? There's like the side that you and Cameron were coming from, and then there's the side of like the opposition, and I'd ask the same questions and get totally different stories, and ultimately at the end of it, like the only one that had like the reality of it would be like Jelly, but The girl's a little bit of a chronic liar.
Mm.
Yeah, I would definitely not want her around. Because she has a tendency to say and do things that she definitely shouldn't be.
I noticed that.
Yeah, she reached out to me and we spoke a little bit. And basically the way the DMs went, she was kind of threatening me. So I was just like, oh, okay, that's what this kind of person is. She also said she saw the apology before it went live too. Yours.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put out a video and then have her response to it be like, "Oh my God, this wasn't accurate. That wasn't accurate. He's trying to lie his way out of it." So of course, I want her to be on the same page and not have anything in the video that pisses her off. I don't want like this is, like you said, she's like a dangerous person who does stuff she's not supposed to do and makes threats and stuff, and I don't want this person getting pissed off at me. So I let her see the video before it was made, and I said, "Hey, yo, if you feel like anything here rubs you the wrong way, just let me know. I can reword it to make it more like, if you feel like this is just going to cause problems, let me know. I don't want to be the next Colleen Ballinger,
Yeah. She sent me a DM saying she was the one who was like, you should wear a hat.
Yeah. I tried multiple different things with my hair, and absolutely nothing worked out. I even straightened my hair. It was completely straight, going straight down for the first time since like my 20s was the last time I straightened my hair. And tried everything. Tried hair gel. Tried absolutely everything to make myself look presentable. Nothing worked. So in the end, I just had to hide my disgusting appearance with a hat.
Have you thought about just shaving it all off? I mean, what it looked like to me. Listen, guy to guy, right? I'm going bald. I know I'm going bald. It kind of looked like you got some a receding hairline. You ever thought of just shaving it?
I can show you the exact reason why I would prefer to have longer hair if possible. Looking for the image. Or is it? Oh, here we go. So you're like a VTuber now, right?
Yes.
I had a VTuber avatar designed for me, and it has longer hair. So I wanted my real life appearance to at least somewhat resemble my VTuber appearance.
Yeah.
So I wanted to grow my hair out to resemble the design that was made for me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to cut it because then I have to change my VTuber design.
Yeah, well, I get it. I mean, like, my VTuber's green, so unless I can wake up one day and have green skin, but I don't know.
Body paint, bro.
I mean, I could, but I think I'll just look like, you ever see like those really bad cosplays of like the Hulk?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because she had DM'd me and she was like, it was really out of the blue, and she was like, I told him to wear a hat, and she said like that, that mischievous smile, like the 3 emoji, and I'm like,
Well, I think even Cameron was telling me to wear a hat originally, and I'm like, no, Cameron, I'm not going to wear a hat. But once I hear it from multiple people, your appearance is so shitty, you need to hide your hair with a hat. It's the only way you will be respectable, or have like any dignity whatsoever. Hide yourself with a hat. Okay, fine, I have to.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, it was just really weird when she said that. She would be DMing me a couple times. And she would just be like saying things like random shit. She definitely talks like she's still a fan of yours. So that's why I asked if she was in the community at all.
It appears that she does enjoy the game. But I wouldn't really. I think it would only cause trouble to have her be a member of the community.
Yeah. I saw a DM saying that she was. I know there's like, what is it? The Gilded, which is like 18 plus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a DM saying that she was in there, but I'm gonna guess
If
that's
if I ever learn that someone is under 18 in the Gilded, I ban them immediately. So if I ever learn about that, she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Can't make any exceptions for anyone. Even someone who said they were 17 and their birthday was 1 month away, I still told them no, come back a month from now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely the attitude to have with that, honestly. And you have a humongous community, so managing that is probably a pain in the ass.
Well, yeah. I think I understand why most game developers just stick to game developing and leave the community management to someone else. I honestly should have done that.
Yeah, shit. Like, yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason for it. As I've been looking at this, one of the detractors, like Decepticon, posted this TikTok about a game called Infestation 88, right? Which the whole drama with that is people thought it was a dog whistle for neo-Nazis. And it turned out it wasn't, but they had published this whole TikTok saying that they were, and the entire community like imploded on itself. And it was just like that's why, you know, community management and shit is so important, because you know, shit can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else was there? When I had spoken with Allie, she was like, oh, Dev is still in contact with her, which is, you're saying is not the case. And
well,
then...
I maintain the most bare minimum amount of contact possible, just because I feel that I should be on polite terms with this person. I don't want to be like buddy, like we're best friends, we're hanging out, but I want it to be like she can contact me and inform me if something serious happens. Like if there's some new development I need to be aware of, she can contact me. I don't want to tell this person like, fuck off, you destroyed my life and career, I never want to speak to you again. I'm like, okay, I don't want to sound mean or anything, but yes, I tolerate her because I feel I would be self-destructive to push her away and lose a potential vector of information. Like if something important needs to be communicated to me. So I am polite to her. If she says good morning, I say good morning, because it would be rude to ignore her. If she says good night, I say good night. If she says I made a house in Minecraft, I say nice house. But I keep all interactions like as robotic as possible. I do not really want to be like buddy with her. If something important needs to be communicated and you think I need to hear it, you can tell me. But I do not really want to be like friends.
Yeah. You're not worried she'll like flip on you or something will happen?
I'm when I interact with her, I imagine like the entire world can see it, because like she's a screenshotter, she's a video recorder, she's burned me once in the past. The trust can never be with me. I know with other people it's different, but with me, if somebody betrays me once, I know it's like I'll never be able to trust them again. So I just imagine every word I'm typing to her is being seen by the entire population of Earth. And I make sure that with every message I send, I have a clear conscience and I don't feel like I'm saying anything weird.
Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely a screenshotter. I definitely did not. Well, first of all, I don't want to even fucking talk to a biter, but she immediately off the rip gave me like really weird vibes. I know there's all those like rumors about her like on 4chan and shit. And yeah, I get staying cordial. I saw her make a tweet saying how she was still talking to you and that she was going to fleece you for like Sims 4 DLC.
That's pretty fucking weird. I draw the line at being like extorted. So like she like mentioned like buy me Sims 4 DLC, and I'm like no. And I was wondering, is she joking or is she being serious? Because I do get the vibes that it's not a joke, and she actually thinks she can just literally straight up extort me, like it's normal to her, like it's as natural as breathing to her, to just like make demands of people and think they're going to give her what she wants because they're like afraid of her, because she's like she has the power to just go online and make negative remarks about you that ruin your career. So it's a very uncomfortable situation where it's like, how can this person think we're going to be on good terms while she's like doing weird shit like that?
Yeah, that tweet had gotten, she deleted it, but I I had grabbed it.
Kind of shows her
before
true
then.
colors. It's weird.
Yeah, she'll tweet stuff like that all the time, or like she said that every dentist she's been to has like molested her, which is just outrageous.
That's Jesus Christ.
Okay, so she did end up asking for fucking Sims DLC. Jesus, oh man. Yeah, I have gotten the impression she's also probably still talking to Allie. I haven't heard that you're doing anything. I know Cameron sent like a legal notice. Were you familiar with anything that was like going on with Cameron and like the kind of the stuff that they're trying to accuse him of at all, but at all?
Like, I forget even when it happened. I think it was, I almost want to say last year, but we just entered a new year. So 2022, maybe? Like some woman named Krexa, who did work for my game. She did like vocals for a song. She needed a place to stay, and Cameron let her stay at his place. And then, according to Cameron, she started acting like a crazy psycho bitch, and like he had to kick her out. And now, like a year later, Krexa is trying to make like sexual assault accusations about him, which doesn't sound at all accurate. But I wasn't there. I'm neither of them. I'm not Cameron. I'm not Krexa. So I don't know what happened between them. I think Cameron said he had like video recording of their interactions. So seems like he could debunk it himself if he needed to.
Yeah.
Seems like something.
I've asked him if he would share or like what the fuck is going on. I also wanted to know if you knew who Krexa was too. Because
Yeah, she did vocals for my game, which now I fear I'm going to have to remove, because if this person's like pissed at Cameron and pissed at me, and she's like, you're using my work in your game. I think she was paid for it, but like maybe I should just remove that anyway and just replace it with another singer's vocals.
Yeah, that when Cameron told me that story, I was like, okay, like this is fucking wild. So, but yeah, she wasn't like an employee. She was just like contract work to do vocals.
Did one song.
Shit. Yeah, the stuff getting, I know you're not Cameron, but yeah, the stuff levied at Cameron is a little cuckoo bananas. And what else? They're like accusing him of trying to take advantage of Jelly as well, which by the way, that seems to be a rumor she started.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The immediate thought that comes to mind is that with like Cameron witnessed Jelly destroy my life, my career, my reputation, my 9-year project are gone, probably permanently, because of Jelly. And Cameron saw it. It was like the first person to like, he was like the first person I reached out to say, hey, all this shit is about to go down. I need you to know that like I'm not a groomer or anything. And so like Cameron had like front row seats to watch the entire, Hindenburg come crashing down. And if his immediate reaction to that is like, oh yeah, this girl seems like a great person to get involved with, That would be stupid. It's like you watch someone put their hand on a hot stove and get third-degree burns, and you immediately put your face on the stove. That would be stupid of him. So I would like to believe that he's smarter than that. I would truly wish to believe he's smarter than that. And if I get proven wrong about that, I'm going to be tremendously disappointed. So I hope I'm not.
Yeah, it seems I don't know what the end goal of like the opposition was here, but they're like directing a lot of energy at Cameron now. So that's something that I had a discussion with him. I don't really know where it's gonna go, considering he just issued legal notices, but you know, that's the breaks. I know Krexa is involved and has been allegedly fabricating information. None of that stuff that is about you, but I figured, you know, you should probably know about it anyway.
Yeah. I guess if I had to take a guess, like, why does a drama YouTuber make drama videos? It's for clicks and views and money and attention. To me, it's not like a mystery. It's like, why are they going after this guy? Because his name is attached to me, and they got so many clicks and views and attention from me that they know they can do it again if they go after the second biggest Yandere Sim name.
Yeah. Speaking of the devil, I'm getting a call from Cameron, so do you mind if I go take that?
Go ahead. I'll be here.
All right, I know that was a long call, but the part about Cameron being dumb getting busy with Anne is really funny. Dev is absolutely right that it'd be incredibly dumb to hook up with her, and he did hook up with her. What was even more interesting is that, yeah, Cameron called me during this call with Yandere Dev, where he told me, well, now I feel Dev is guilty. Yes, Cameron, the former personal assistant labeled by r/Osana, now feels that Dev is guilty, in his opinion.
It's a hard sell kind of apology, right?
Right, no, because he fucked up. You can't... He's not innocent. You can't, like... He told a 16-year-old girl that he would keep it secret, you know? He fucking said, oh, I'm not gonna ask you to send me nudes, but, you know, if you do... Like, come on.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to broach questioning him on that, honestly. We're supposed to have the interview, but he said the 2023 incident is off the table.
Of course it is to him.
Yeah, he said he wanted to leave it in the past.
Still ask him. You have, like, I mean, I'm sure you are. You should still ask him when you have him there. Because that's one of those things that, I'm telling you this as a longtime friend of his, Alex is a pussy. He's a pussy. And when you put him on the spot, he breaks.
Yeah, he didn't really seem he doesn't like want to talk about it, or like when he's questioned on things like that, he'll try and deflect and be like, actually, I meant it in this way, but it's like, that's not what it looks like.
7 times worse. You either got to say you did or you didn't. And that's, you know, the full thing of it. And there's screenshots of him doing it.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm like, what's the point of even asking that question? What's the point of him shutting down by me broaching that? Right.
And he's admitted it to us. I have the recordings of him admitting it to us when we learned. And after that call, the next day he tried to tell me that some of that stuff was taken out of context or fake. And that's why for a while I was on the fence, because when you first learn about that, when you're like close with someone, you want to take their word for it at first. And at first I did, and I slowly started to realize that this isn't it. And by like the beginning of October, I was out. Like, I had decided at the end of September that I was leaving the project, but by the end of October, I realized I'm not going to be this guy's friend anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, or beginning of October, rather. And that's documented. I mean, I have the DMs with him on his account. Is deleted now, Discord account. Don't know if you know this, but his original Discord account was deleted.
Yeah, no, I think it was either you or I. Oh no, didn't I have a conversation with him about that? I can't remember.
I mentioned it when we got on the group call.
Yeah, and he was like, he never got like a notice from Discord or whatever.
No, they immediately, and it's part of their like child safety thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's part of the child safety protocols that Discord has in place.
Yeah.
Same thing for Snap, where he's like, I can't get the logs or whatever. I don't know about that.
I think he's fucking lying. Because I did it myself recently with my former coworker. I got all the chat logs that I've ever had with her, of essentially proving my innocence, and it didn't take much at all. And I am pretty sure the reason he doesn't want to do it is something was probably sent that he doesn't want to talk about. I personally, between you and I'm pretty sure he sent a dick pic. Over time, I'm starting to slowly realize that it's probably happened. Well, I've talked to Jelly enough times to slowly like understand her reactions and what they mean. And whenever I ask the dick pic question, I get a certain reaction where it's like she's afraid to answer. I think he sent her a dick pic.
But he's never told you himself.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Just like he told me if he did the sysfs things. That's another thing I'm questioning. I think I got a bad lead. I either think he impersonated people from the old Video Revolution chats, which were the people that like the rivals to the Eva X video chats. Like old friends of his that like made their own stream group. And where that sysfs user was from. And I think he was impersonating them when I got in contact with them. And I just hadn't caught on or something. But I haven't been able to get back in contact with them. They had screenshots of them being in Video Revolution to prove it. But that could have just been Alex's old screenshots. Like... It was oddly fitting with his narrative, which to me back then, was convincing enough, because he was my friend. I was younger. I was a teenager. A lot more willing to trust him. I've seen more of the evidence that isn't very public. I'm starting to think he might have done that too. Which would mean this is his second time doing it. Which makes this a lot darker. Fuck, man. What sucks about it is I still think a lot of the other shit about him was pretty bullshit.
I do think there's a pack watch going on, but
Yeah, I think a lot of the other shit about him in the past was pretty fucking retarded. Like, who cares? I don't care.
Like the guy online crap.
Yeah, like getting on him for his past and his like old lonely behavior, like his old incel behavior, because he hadn't been like that when I was friends with him. He had a bit of a sense of confidence, and his older like, and some of like the interactions he had, he was a lot more willing to take criticism than people understand. Because like most of the interactions on his Discord, he was perfectly fine and able to take criticism. He would often implement it into the game. He would make videos about it. He was very publicly like with the community on making changes to the game, and I think that like whole thing about him was really like overblown and misunderstood. Same with the coding drama. Like, yeah, he's a self-taught coder. The architecture of it completely fucking sucks. That's so true. But it's not affecting the performance of the game because of Unity's compiling system making, else if chains into Boolean expressions which are faster than switch statements. Like stuff like that. The whole toothbrush optimization stuff. Like, I always thought those were stupid. But when you come into criminal stuff like this, all of that can be true or false. But this, there's no anything. And then where I feel fucked the most is he took advantage of my kindness to him in the past. Tried to use it this time. I tried to help him a little bit. I kept contact with him for people like you who wanted to get interviews. I wanted the story to be out there the right way because I knew Allie was botching it from the start. Once you warned me about her, I knew she was like, I knew to keep a keen eye on her. And the more I did, the more I learned that she is not a trustworthy or good person or worthy of this story. So that's why I trusted people like you and, other content creators to get the story right. And unfortunately, Allie has fucked it so much that Alex has almost gotten away with it with this community. And I hope that can change.
He when I was talking with him, he told me that he like there's an investigation now, and that's part of why he doesn't want to talk about the 2023 stuff. Or
No, it's just Callie, or not Callie. Jelly keeps getting pestered by the CPS because she keeps getting swatted.
Okay.
And they're swatting her, saying that Alex Mahan is trying to meet up with her and rape her, and saying that her dad rapes her and forces her to like mutilate herself. Creates.
Yeah, he didn't want to answer any of that when I was speaking with him. So I figured I'd ask.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll answer. And I have a lot I want to say publicly about him eventually. On my final video saying fucking peace. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop a video after I release the rest of the songs. Drop a video, be like, all right, here are my receipts. Here's everything that actually happened involving me. Very candidly, and then give my experience with Yandere Sim, my criticisms of Alex, and then say, kind of criticize the community that was so quick to cause shit, and then say fucking peace and move on with my life. And never like bring it up again.
Now, Cameron is 19. This fact is still disputed, but we ran an independent background check on him and it came up 19. However, he does have a past of lying about his age. Cameron told me around January that during the Thanksgiving break, he drove out to where Anne was because he was on the way to see family. Initially, he had told me that he wanted to get to the bottom of this story and figure out who this girl was, to pull a commentary and do a documentary video. What ended up happening was that their mutual understanding about the situation and their relatability, according to Cameron, led to them having sex and a fling occurring.
Like, what was the relationship you had with her?
We got close. We got extremely fucking close. Extremely close. We weren't dating. At some point, she tried to, like, kind of flirt with me a bit.
Mm.
And obviously, at first, it was like, fuck that, no. Over time, I just kind of was cool with it. I didn't really give a shit. Like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't have anything to fucking worry about. I'm not gonna do anything weird.
Mm.
And, like, I haven't done anything wrong. So, it, like, nothing weird, like, we never dated or nothing, I guess. But, like, yeah, we were, like, chill. We were super close towards the end of things. Like, and she was super cool. And now all of a sudden it's been weird as shit. Like, literally, it was like a snap of a finger.
So she would flirt with you and you would just, like, be like, whatever.
Yeah, at first it was whatever. Then I was just like, after a while, I was fine with it.
Mm.
Because it's like, what, it's like, she turns, what, 17 in, like, tomorrow? I'm 19. I don't turn 20 for a little bit. So it's like, whatever. But, like, I knew, like, I wouldn't do anything illegal, and I didn't do anything weird.
Mm. So nothing happened between you two?
Like what?
There was no, like, intimacy period?
There was some intimacy. I'm not gonna lie. It's just personal. Like, there was a point where it became, like, personal, like, chill, whatever. I made it very clear I didn't want to date her. I made that my intention is extremely fucking clear. And sorry, I'm just gonna click off of whatever she's saying because I don't even wanna. And it, like, that's all it ever went, you know. It was that we never dated or nothing, but she was very flirtatious, and, you know, after a while, it was like, whatever. I didn't see it as a relationship, though.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that.
It was just more of like a romantic fling.
A little bit, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I get how fucking weird that is, because, you know, my old boss got in some shit, but, like, you gotta understand that during this time, what he had put me through towards the end of everything, and what he had put her through, was very similar. And no one could understand or hear that or relate to that in any way. And at some point, I was, like, closed off completely emotionally, but at some point I'd kind of gotten emotional and, like, expressed that, and she had comforted me in a way that only she could understand. And I kind of relied on that for a bit. And I guess in hindsight, she was, like, taking advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you say it was kind of like a situationship fling thing,
Mm-hmm.
I understand it's personal, but what did you do with her exactly?
I don't think. Well, first of all, I know she said I, like, raped her or some shit. That's not true.
You didn't have sex?
I think me choosing not to answer should be an answer for you.
So that's a yes?
Yes, we did.
Uh-huh.
Not that we didn't, when we first met, that didn't happen. The second time we met, it, like, kind of just, after, like, talking a shit ton, it kind of just went there. But we wanted to keep it private because we didn't want people thinking some weird shit between, like, that Alex had any involvement in it, because he didn't. Like, my interview with her was very anti-Alex. I can show you that.
Uh-huh. She was very critical of Alex?
I was. She wasn't.
She wasn't?
No. Also, Allie. She's still typing.
So,
she's saying all kinds of weird shit.
like what?
That I showed my ex-GF private recordings of us talking and didn't even tell me.
Is this in reference to Krexa?
No. Fuck no. Me and Krexa never dated. This is in reference to a close friend of mine. You lied about not calling the cops, claiming I tried to kill myself because I was caught lying. Well, I didn't. She's, for some reason, so set on assuming that I called the cops on her.
So, whoops, let's put aside those rumors. Yeah, the two of them did have sex, according to Cameron, despite what he says in his latest expose video. That's an interesting one. Cameron ended up on the receiving end of many rumors during this, as the idiot brigade of Kami and Allie tried to get Cameron on pedophilia allegations. Now, I'm not going to address the age discourse of a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old hooking up. I don't really need to say anything as it stands on its own. I do want to mention, however, how stupid Cameron is. Is Cameron friends with Dev now? Well, I don't really know for sure. Was he friendly at the time that he hooked up with Anne? Yes. He had more information than anyone else about Anne. He knew about the alleged extortion. He knew about the recordings, the backpedaling, the lying, all of it. And this idiot still went and slept with her. Since that time, Cameron got accused of rape in a roundabout way by Anne, got accused of assault by many more, and was thrown every accusation under the sun by Team Allie and Kami. Now this is where that dick pic I mentioned about Kami leaking comes from, right? So there are 3 fucking versions of this photo, so determining the original seems basically difficult to impossible. Decepticami posted the first image, to my knowledge, saying how Cameron has been, quote, acting in Alex's favor to hurt the victim. So now they were tag team grooming? But he was grooming on Alex's orders? Okay, got it, whatever. That's insane, in my opinion. I think that's insane, right? That's a little bit insane. What's funny is that yet again, Anne accused someone of blackmail here, as she sent this to Allie and Kami in a group chat. Now, at the time, Kami and Allie claimed a dick pic was the original, which there are 2 versions. Originally, it was said that this image, the censored one, was censored because there was a cock in it. There's also an uncensored version of this exact image with no cock. There's also a third image that has neither of those things, and the originator of the image is a chronic 4chan liar. Either way, this didn't stop Kami from schizo posting forensic evidence of what is and isn't a doctored image, because to me, hell, maybe these all are doctored images, because if 2 out of 3 of them are doctored, what's to say that 3 out of 3 of them aren't doctored? On top of that, I find it really funny that Kami is throwing shade at Kiwi Farms, talking about how police do nothing, when there's no reason for you or any of the other idiots involved to be aware of what's going on in a police case, period. Except Allie, who lies about being aware of what's going on in a police case for some reason. I don't know why. But the point is, you guys wouldn't have any fucking knowledge of what the police or feds are doing. Neither do I. Okay? I know that there have been talks but I don't know. I'm not in the room. Now, Cameron began making his own response video since he was being accused of a lot. And Cameron's no angel, right? This might have seemed like I was defending him, but that is far from the case. He ended up producing a response video about everything, and his video would have been fine if it was just about Krexa. He clips chimps some stuff, but in my opinion, I believe r/Osana is so desperate for wins, they end up accepting the testimony of people who clearly don't have all their faculties.
Listen, what the fuck? No. Just leave me alone. What the fuck?
Don't respond to me. Just relax. Ease the nerves. I'm gonna go. Like you asked. You made me harm. I apologize for how I made you feel. I apologize for getting snappy at you earlier. I wasn't trying to deal with that. I wasn't thinking about it.
You were.
It wasn't malintent. There was no malintent. I just don't want you to be anxious or upset or nervous.
I'm extremely anxious now.
Excuse me. And I didn't want to escalate earlier.
I want you to leave me alone. Please just leave me alone.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave you alone.
Right now.
I am.
Go.
You don't control me, okay? This is my house. Stop.
I get the right to my own space.
You do. Absolutely.
Please just leave me alone.
You don't control me. You don't tell me what to do.
Please.
Okay? I'm going to get a snack and I'm going to go to bed. So, just relax. Okay? I care about you. I care a lot.
Then leave me alone right now.
I'm going to. Just relax. Don't respond. Don't think about it. You're going to do great. Okay?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
And yeah, Cameron did do some clip chimps, but if the video was just about Krexa, I wouldn't have included this part. Krexa lied about things she really didn't need to lie about for seemingly no reason. The allegation of him sleeping to the sounds of screaming women is cartoonish and ridiculous. Krexa asking for the goodwill of the Yandere Dev anti-community to house her is also ridiculous. Now, in a call I had with Cameron, he wanted to bring Anne in as a collaborator. Anne, who made Ali look dumb, who made Dev look dumb, and will now make Cameron look dumb. I really don't know why he needed to placate Anne so badly. It sounds to me like he's under duress and he was planning on doing this while he was being accused of rape by Anne.
I know. I'll just wait. I mean, I'm offering to show her the video early. If she doesn't take me up on that, that's on her.
All right,
but I'm gonna drop
optics check. Now, was it a good idea when she and Yandere Dev compared notes on each other's responses? Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay. Wow. Crazy, right?
I know. It's just, I don't know. I try to appease her because she does this shit.
Why are you trying to appease her?
I don't know. She just says shit. Like, she's just making shit up now.
So you're trying to appease her so that way she doesn't lie about you?
Yes. I was probably dumb. I don't know. And I do somewhat care about her. I mean, she's clearly got a lot fucking going on. I care about the wrong people, clearly. I don't know, I'm done. If she never comes back into my life, fuck it, whatever. I'm not gonna talk about her. I don't care.
Uh-huh.
I'm done. I care, but I'm done.
Now, he would end up bringing her in, and it absolutely recontextualizes the entire response, especially with what I'm about to leak today. So much of it may actually be in Krexa's benefit now. Even more so, this guy had the balls to ask me, beg me even, to not cover Anne, telling me a new narrative about her pedo baiting that completely contradicted the prior narratives that were brought up.
She's coming up in the video. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way.
I'm gonna request you don't mention me and her with the HoneyPot stuff. I don't want anything I've ever sent you used about that. I no matter what, because it's just, I don't think it's cool.
You know that's a crime, right?
I know. But I don't hold her responsible. I hold her mother responsible.
I think the FBI would hold her responsible. Yeah.
It was her mother, and I don't think
her mother was now telling her to honeypot grown men on the internet.
No, her mother was.
Her mother was honeypotting people.
Yes.
Using her?
Yeah. And they've tried to prosecute it. It's not.
And when did you learn this?
A while back.
While back? What's a while?
Like maybe a month ago.
Like a month ago?
Yeah.
But you learned about her doing the honeypotting near what, like October?
Yeah.
But she didn't regale to you that it was her mother that was the mastermind behind this?
No, she was always really finicky about talking about her parents.
Mm-hmm.
She loves talking about her dad, though. She loves her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad is really cool.
Okay, so those 4chan posts are her mother masquerading as her.
I don't think it's a masquerade, no, but.
So you're telling me she was operating on her mother? But what's like the setup here?
From what I understand, is her mother was encouraging this so that she could get extra money.
Mm. So Anne received no benefit from that?
No.
No?
Not. Other than, like, food, occasionally.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't you tell me that she was getting gifts from pedophiles?
Like food, at most.
But she doesn't do that anymore because the mother's not in the picture.
No. Ever since she's left her mom's house, she hasn't done that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I believed her. Because the timeline, aligns.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother doesn't have full custody of her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that had stuff to do with it. I don't know. I just don't think it's... She's finally out of that situation. I morally oppose using any of my evidence against her on that.
You know Dev was she asked Dev for gifts.
Yeah, I know. I know. I thought it was funny.
Was that her mom?
No, that was her, but I don't blame her for that.
So what's the possibility that she didn't do these things on her own? She's clearly smart.
I'm sure she was trained on it. Yeah, I'm sure she was trained to do it. After a while. But Dev always said no, so.
Mm-hmm.
Except for once. That's whatever. Point is, I'm not trying to get her in any trouble, and I don't think it would be cool to bring that up.
On the basis of?
The situation's over. She's not in that behavior anymore. She doesn't engage in any honeypot shit. And she was, being heavily abused by her mother during that time and was being pressured into doing those things by her mother.
But here's the thing. If Dev is a pedophile, and assumedly you tell me yes, right?
I think he is.
The issue here...
No, he's not a pedophile. He's an fubophile.
I don't care. All right? But the thing is, you're telling me he was waiting for this chick to turn 18, right? That's what you told me.
He's a groomer. He's a groomer, yeah.
Yeah. Here she is doing this thing about Dev, right? Yeah. If there's an investigation, doing something like that, entrapment can keep it from being prosecuted, right? These things can get in the way. What she did.
That's on Allie. Because Allie was the one pressuring her to do certain things to get more.
Oh, absolutely. Allie is culpable as well. But to say that Anne isn't at all, she's 17, you're 19.
She was 16. She told us that she had a hard time not respecting older adults. And that told me fucking everything, right? I don't blame her for this. And I don't think she should be she should be put on blast for that. And at the time of all of this, when that stuff was going around, she was like 12, 13. Really, way too young. That's not on her. My personal opinion. You can disagree, but I just morally don't want you to use anything I've ever sent you about her in your video.
This is the second time she's calling you a rapist, Cameron.
I don't give a shit. She's not okay mentally. I'm I didn't rape her. I know that in my heart. She has no proof of it. There's nothing that says that. She's literally gone out and said I hadn't done it. She says it in this video. It would be nice if you got her to relax and say you're not fucking covering that, and I never wanted you to cover that, and that the police report is real. That's what she's concerned about.
Cameron, if she's lying about you twice, okay?
And
I've caught her in more lies before. She's a chronic liar.
I understand that. But just right now, I don't want this video to be tainted by her right now. I just want to get the fuck out of this, man.
So you're worried that you're gonna get fucked?
Yes!
Well, let's just call a spade a spade. You don't want me to include her in my coverage because it'll make you look bad.
Well, no, that's whatever. I'm cool if you include her in your coverage, just not the HoneyPot stuff. Like, that's a little...
It's rather important to the overall story.
Don't confirm it, and don't use any recordings I sent you. That's all I say. Because I feel bad about it.
This is something I have to sleep on.
Alright, but can you tell her that I never asked you?
No, I am responding to that girl, okay? You want something confirmed? You can say, Diesel said this, but that's about it. I'm not messaging her. Here, better yet, before you type anything, I'll let you screenshot a fucking message, because I don't want my word misconstrued at all. I love how Cameron says don't cover jelly. Anne is the reason this story is so complicated. Anne is the reason people believe you're a sex offender. Anne is the reason Dev might actually not be charged with anything. Anne has accused literally everybody who worked with her of extortion or a sex crime. I don't think I could cover this without mentioning her. So let's get to the sex part. Right? Cameron and Anne had sex, which makes the entire response video ridiculous because it's the funniest lie by omission bullshit I've ever heard. Jesus, I wouldn't be surprised if they rehearse some of these things. So I published a clip of Cameron saying he fucked her, and then you have things like this. They're clearly... Just listen.
Now, let's get into Anne. Initially, I wasn't going to cover this here because it was pretty preposterous to begin with. And out of respect for Anne and her privacy, she's going through a lot already. I just didn't want this to be included, but it's gone way too far, and it needs to be addressed. I was never dating Anne. I never flew out to her for sex. I didn't send any illicit material to her. I never tried getting her in contact with Alex. All of those allegations are false, and as you can see on screen, it is provably false.
So it sounds pretty cut and dry there. It's true. To my knowledge, he was never dating Anne. And yeah, he didn't fly out to her for sex. He drove, and then they had sex. Big distinction there. I didn't know what in his mind made him think I wouldn't call him out for this. I learned our entire time he was recording me, so thank Christ I recorded him. I know I can stand by what I said in the call, but since you want to play lie by omission, how about you stand by what you said, Cameron? Anyway, he goes on to play a talk with Anne, which does sound like it's in a car.
There are a lot of things that she would disagree with you on, and any one of them could be the reason that she thinks.
Because of that, she thinks it's justifiable to try to expose me into a crime that I've never had any connection with.
What crime?
Cupcake?
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen you diddling any kids.
Nah. So she doesn't like my takes, and for that reason she thinks it's appropriate.
Or she thinks that because you started off defending Alex before.
Because I didn't know the information, I misunderstood it.
you
And then
didn't
I
know.
openly supported you, had you on a live stream, had you tell all of your side that I understood. Now, looking back at it, I didn't know everything, and I took it down because you would ask me to.
Yeah.
But I was doing everything I could for you.
You were doing, to the best of your ability, a lot to help. You were trying to be very supportive, but you didn't know anything.
And you know I was not very nice to Alex in the behind the
You
scenes.
were not.
I railed into him, and to the point where he was whimpering.
He was.
He was whimpering. I don't know why. It was kind of funny.
Can you guys please stop interrupting me and just let me share my side?
I was like, you've shared your side, dude. It's our turn. Guys, this is cruel. Yeah, it's cruel to have me lose my fucking job over a mistake you knew that you should not have made.
Real.
That's cruel. Anyways.
Uneventful, but it's amazing how Cameron and Anne are talking about how supportive Cameron was being. Yeah, Cameron would be supportive. He would be reporting back to Anne as if she were a boss. As every time I spoke with someone, especially Cameron, you, Anne, would pop off in my messages. Like, I wouldn't notice your DMs didn't have suspicious similarities to conversations I just had. But I'll get to the Anne DMs, don't worry.
Okay, but FPS thinks that you did nothing wrong.
And he was referring to the idea of you and I having sex. Nothing else.
So you didn't admit to what you did.
He didn't ask about it. We haven't talked about that yet. It wasn't very long. But I don't think.
Are you sure that you didn't throw me under the bus and lie about what happened like you did with Eve?
With Eve? Well, how? In what way did I do that with Eve? You show me that?
That's
I
not
don't
the
think
point. So.
I don't think Eve is very trustworthy. I didn't throw you under the bus to Eve.
Okay.
Unless you were talking about after the fact when I was like worried.
Okay.
Sindel.
Cameron.
Yeah. Are you talking about over Twitter? Like the day that...
The day that I told people what you did?
I was... Honestly, like, I was just blurting shit out. I was more pissed at Eve. But I was never throwing you specifically under the bus. At least not attempting to.
Okay. So, if FPS ever does ask you, like, hey, what about that time you forced her to kiss you, or forcibly lifted her up and wouldn't stop until she was hitting you and saying, oh my god,
I'll give him my full explanation.
Your full explanation.
My mindset and the fact that we had, reconciled since then about it.
I wouldn't say that we're reconciled. I'm just talking to you because I have to. No, it's whatever. Just don't say that we've reconciled because we really haven't. You have important information and people are talking to you and for some reason not talking to me.
But I would never release that about you.
Never release what?
Any important information about you.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have important information on other people. Stuff that I need to know about. I need to know when people are talking about me, when people are asking about things that I'm involved in. And for some reason, everyone goes to you instead of me. That's
I don't like it either.
why I'm talking to you.
And I vehemently defended you with the diesel. 100%, and I recorded the call if you don't believe me.
Whatever.
Anne flips back and forth all the time, so at this point the relationship she has with Cameron is pretty sour. She had aligned herself with Krexa now, but she was also really keen to be the center of attention in this. She didn't like it when people talk ill of her behind her back, as I have been repeatedly warning people how dangerous this now 17-year-old is.
Anne and I had become good friends. That is true. We joke a lot, and there have been some clips of us making jokes taken out of context. And before you even say it's weird for me to be friends with this girl, remember, we could relate on our experiences with Alex. That is something that we bonded over. Also, remember, this girl is 17 years old, and I am 19 years old. We are only 2.5 years apart. Me and her can relate on a lot more things than someone like Alex can relate to me or her, which is a 17-year and a 19-year age gap respectively, ironically. I should also mention this for the information that I'm about to bring up. Allie is 31 years old. She's 31 years old. That's pretty substantial. She is 12 years older than me and 14 years older than Anne. Just keep that in mind for what I'm about to talk about.
and herself also wanted to comment on these things. So I want you guys to hear her side of things.
Yeah, you became good friends. Great. I'm glad you were both able to bond over this, and she was able to work you over the entire time, reporting to other people how abusive you were. You idiot. Now, he also mentions she is 17 and her birthday was at the beginning of February. Now, 17 and 19 sounds a lot nicer than 16 and 19. When they hooked up, she was 16, though. The majority of this drama, she was 16. Again, I'm not going to pontificate on the age gap thing there. It could be a sophomore and a senior in high school type age gap. Regardless, it was stupid for him to sleep with her. Again, I don't know why the fuck he would do the whole lie by omission thing there.
Have I ever, I guess, this is so stupid to ask. Have I ever sexually assaulted you or hurt you or raped you or done anything nefarious to you?
No, but I bet I know which subreddit is claiming those things.
Was I on Alex's side? Was I trying to help him? Was I, trying to convince you of anything?
No, you were pretty mad at him.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Like, yeah.
Did I ever send you anything gross?
Anything nefarious?
Yeah.
I have not seen your penis.
Okay.
If that's what you're asking.
That was what I was implying. I didn't want to say it to a 17-year-old girl because that would make me a rapist, horrible monster.
For realsies.
What else have they claimed?
I don't know that you
Did I come fly out?
taking a bag of Cheerios.
Well, I
You did not fly out to me.
did I come
And
fly out?
It's ridiculous that people think you flew out to me.
The most I ever did was an interview. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Let me. Have we ever dated? Are we dating?
No.
What's our relationship in your words?
Our relationship
Mhm.
is Discord, Minecraft, and Among Us friend. That's so skibbity.
Did I try to swat you?
No.
Did you think I tried to swat you?
Yeah, but
Why?
that's not really your fault. You were asleep and I was I was panicking because
We've all been there.
people showed up to my house.
Same. Thought I was taking a nap. So, did Krexa claim that I was sharing revenge porn and AI porn? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, she did say that in the VC.
And then you guys caught her in a lie, and that's why Allie never made a video about it, right?
Well, we caught her being sneaky because she was like, she didn't say that she had a boyfriend when she met you, and she didn't say like anything about hooking up with you and that kind of stuff. Instead, she was like, and he not consensually kissed me.
That's
And
not true.
I was like, can you answer some questions for me? Why would you cheat on your boyfriend with him? And then she was like, I was embarrassed and blah blah. And I think that might have made Allie uncomfortable. I don't want to speak for her.
You caught her in some dishonest behavior.
Caught her sneaking around.
Was I trying to get you and Alex to talk again? Was I like...
No, you wanted the opposite.
Yeah.
You were really disappointed or something.
I was pissed and disappointed.
You were quite upset.
Did I dox you with your name when you asked me to take down Allie's video? Is that your answer?
Yeah,
But you did ask me to take down Allie's video.
I did. Yeah, it was like I didn't know how to do it. I had all my stuff.
Do you think I was manipulative towards you?
No, you. I don't know. I mean, you can be like kind of whiny, but.
Was I lying about what I knew in the stream I did with you?
No.
You poor thing. You were so out of the loop. Oh yeah, the Sprite Cranberry.
Was I
You
actually?
made a joke.
Was I?
Haha.
Yeah, and you looked so terrified in that clip.
Oh, I was so terrified.
You were
I
shaking in
was
your
scared for
boots.
my life. I thought you were gonna come assault me.
Embarrassing. So you had a call with Krexa. Your story changed a lot. She asked you to get her words were get
Evidence of like us and be like, you just get him for entrap. Like
no get evidence of him
other
soliciting
stuff.
you for sex. If you don't have this evidence.
So Krexa.
She told you to
wanted me to like solicit myself to you.
Yeah.
So that we could get evidence that you're diddling minors.
Yeah.
Which is almost what Allie did with Alex, but Alex was actually a bad person and he fell for it. And then you you were not trying to get involved with me because clearly that has consequences.
Speaking of, this was ridiculous to listen to in this video because every time the conversation on sex is brought up, they phrase it like she's a minor and they'd never have sex, but according to Cameron's own words, they did. So based on this interview, he has unintentionally labeled himself as a pedophile. Great one. We also learned that Cameron worked on the orders of Anne to copyright strike and take down Allie's video. Now, Allie, to her credit, was on the right track, but she was also a naive fool thinking that Anne was being like blackmailed to do it or something. It was ridiculous. Allie thought it was Cameron impersonating Anne because Anne was too naive or too innocent to do anything herself. When in reality, yeah, it was Cameron working on Anne's behalf for her benefit because they had a mutual they were on mutual terms. It would have been better for both of them if the video went down.
Did I have sex to you while listening to Big Dick Randy?
We did not have sex while listening to Big Dick Randy.
This is that lie by omission stuff I mentioned. It's a very interesting way to word things. Ask, did we or did we not have sex? You say, did we have sex while listening to this stupid song? So it sounds like you didn't have sex. That's a good one. That's a really good way to word that one.
There was a lot of negative to come out of that Google Drive, mainly concerning Anne. A lot of personal information, leaked information that was gathered through other people that has nothing to do with Alex and has nothing to do with allegations against me. And then stuff that does have to do with me that is just a complete breach of privacy and taken completely out of context that she didn't want to be released. And then a lot of fake images as well. She was never contacted about this beforehand by Allie, who claimed to have her back and said, oh, there's no such thing as a perfect victim, and would defend her. And yet for the second time, this happened when the video initially released, she wouldn't take her word and listen to her and give her time and privacy. And now she's doing it again. This is the second time she's done this. She's not giving her privacy and doing things without her consent, and now even tried blackmailing her, which is disgusting, especially given that these people have accused me of blackmailing her in the past as well.
After Cameron was getting ready to release his video, the video Allie would release was her trying to get the fuck out of Dodge and dropping all that data that I've mentioned multiple times. Most of it we've seen. Much of it is redundant to this video. The parts worth mentioning have been mentioned already. Information was doctored to hide some of the involvement, either intentionally or unintentionally. This is when Allie would be accused of blackmailing Anne. This is where more CSAM allegations came from, and quite personally, everyone in this is either mentally ill a snake or a mentally ill snake. Anne would go on in Cameron's video to mention much of what I just mentioned, with the added bonus of saying this stuff about my history shouldn't be included. I have included the history. That has nothing to do with the Yandere Dev situation, Anne says. These images appear to be related to Anne's former HoneyPot days, and I'd argue her HoneyPot days are very much relevant. I also find the allegations of CP kind of dubious, mainly because of what's claimed is still up. To add on to that, Google has systems in place to flag and remove criminally offending content, of which the video and a drive have been up for a while, and has probably been reported a bunch of times. Unless there is a criminal material I don't know about, and I'm not going to go and confirm that. If those images are what Anne alleges, she would have been the screenshotter of those images anyway, then she is the one who produced those images.
So they actually banned me from having access to the Google Drive because I had my friends DM them and make a group chat so I could call them out for the stuff they put in there. It's been removed now, but it had to get removed after I sent it to the feds because they included random CP in there of a guy that I hung out with. I don't know why they included that stuff. I don't know why they included other people's business. It has nothing to do with Alex. It shouldn't have been included. I have no idea
And then
why they would put that in.
they put some out of context call between us that literally makes no sense out of context.
I don't know what they included because they blocked my access to it. All I saw before I freaked out was the pictures. It was like my history, which isn't relevant to the situation. My history, like outside of my interactions with Alex, totally irrelevant. And most of it isn't even me.
Here, I'll send you the call so you can listen to it for yourself. But apparently it alleges rape against me. It alleges that I raped you.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Which, of course, you and I both know didn't happen.
Yeah, so they didn't ask me anything before they made the drive. They didn't text me, and then when I saw that they had underage people's pictures in there, I was mad. And they were like, well, we're not going to take it out unless you admit that you were the one who produced it. And I did not produce it.
Yeah, there was one really gross thing in there that they should have never included that was a total breach of your privacy.
Yeah. Those two guys that were in there are currently still underage and have nothing to do with the situation. I do not know why they included those, but that really messed me up. And they said that they wouldn't take it out unless I admitted that I was producing and sharing CP, and I'm not.
And
They
also,
like trap me into a corner where they wouldn't respect his privacy unless I took the blame for stuff that I didn't do.
And also, they this isn't the first time they've done something like this. Mods of a certain subreddit have not only denied censoring you in the past, and have just been treating you awfully since the beginning, and
Yeah.
allowed people to send you gore and really awful things in the past. And
Oh yeah, and then when I told one of the people who was sending me that stuff in my exact words, slice open, comma, worthless cupcake. They locked my threads for starting fights and claimed that I faked that person sending me CP. I didn't fake anything. I actually didn't even screenshot my DMs with them because I can't look at infant for more than a second without throwing up. And I feel like that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
So
no
sorry
human
that I
can.
didn't screenshot it and spread it so I could show the mods.
Yeah.
So they push me into very uncomfortable things in order to have basic human decency and respect. They don't respect me at all.
They treat you
and
like an
they try
animal.
It's weird.
Like a
It's
farm
really
animal.
weird.
More so than that, say what you will about r/Osana, and baselessly claims here that a mod of r/Osama, and baselessly claims that a mod of r/Osana is a pedo, but that she doesn't have evidence of it because it was so heinous. Which, aside from the baseless claim, she has quite a horrid history from 4chan that I'm not even broaching in this video because it's unnecessarily cruel and unusual and disgusting. However, the screenshots are hilarious because Cameron is just operating on Anne's behalf in all of these conversations, or at least that's the way it looks.
For your safety, because
Yeah, I need ammo. If you're gonna do something to fuck with me,
she was
no offense, but
she,
you were friends with Alex for so long that you're just not trustworthy.
at
No
that,
offense.
especially at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, especially after you pissed me off so bad and you made me look bad to a YouTuber, and that really pissed me off. I needed ammo.
I actually
So
didn't.
of
I
course I'm
really
gonna record
didn't.
stuff out of context. I need to protect myself. I need to protect my image, and it was a bad situation. Neither of us should have been doing stuff. We should have both left each other alone and not gotten involved with people.
This should have been settled in private because between the conversation, it was like a game of telephone.
We put our trust in the wrong people.
Yep.
And it caused some issues between us because people were pitting us against each other.
Yep.
And now
and then weird,
God,
twisted
nothing
versions
brings
of
people closer than hating the same guy.
exactly. Clear this up. I wasn't, and you've seen the DMs now. I was never actually twisting your name. I was actually defending you, and I still have been to the YouTuber, despite everything going around, because I knew that genuinely you knew the truth and you were going through something, and I felt bad for what I had said. Because I did talk out of line during where you didn't really need to hear something like that, and I felt bad about it.
Yeah, you needed to watch your mouth, and I feel like what I did in that time was appropriate. I feel like I had a very
A little harsh,
appropriate response to you.
a little much.
I do not feel like my response to you should have been put in a Google Drive without asking me. Why are they stalking me? Why are these grown adults, they are in their 30s, they're as old as Alex. Why are they stalking me and
And
compiling stuff about me? I have nothing to do with what Alex did other than the fact that I was the girl.
and
Like,
they
none
were
of my past, none of my friends, none of the people who I talk to have anything to do with Alex. Anything
yep,
that should be in there about me should be my interactions with him.
yep,
Nothing else is relevant to the situation.
yep.
I needed ammo. Okay, interesting. Hi, Ann. I'm YouTuber. It is relevant. You might be the most lunatic victim I've ever seen. You're the real reason pedophiles get away with crimes. You're a victim of Dev, absolutely, but you industrialized it with a Discord server before you met him. You're smart, and you knew what you were doing. I would argue you're actually the smartest out of all of these adults. You have it down to a science with FAQs to teach others how to extort and bait pedophiles. You admit to doing ridiculous things, and you're a walking fucking disaster. It clearly happens in real life and online. People who are wrong about you tend to just get claims of extortion or other crimes as well, which is why I logged all of our interactions, right? Before your Twitter got nuked. Yeah, I have all of it. No, Cameron Cope is going to help save you today. Yandere Dev isn't walking away from this ever, and I plan to ensure no one ever takes you at your word because the testimony from you is disingenuous and self-serving, and quite frankly, you're fucking crazy. We're pretty deep into this now, so I'm going to go over all these calls on stream on the second channel, Diesel IRL, linked down below, where I plan on leaking the calls. So when you're done here, you can head there and either check out the VOD if this is later or join me live. As I explored this story, something curious would happen, right? And I was able to start putting two and two together because people would operate almost the same way each time. I share something, it leaks. I say something, it gets back to Jelly. Ann. Every time I had to talk with Cameron, sometimes with Ali and Dev, it would lead to a message from Ann, Jelly, Jane, whatever the fuck you want to call her. Right from the jump, this girl was smart. She knew the game we were playing. So for example, she knew I was lying. I let her message sit in requests for quite some long time because I just had a weird hunch about her even before I had learned all I had learned. But she tracked it pretty quick, and I went from a hungover holiday Diesel to a sober one on the ball real fucking quick. This one is probably the most interesting, and it changes how I viewed her quite a bit. Here she says something along the lines, I'll read it verbatim, quote, "I don't think you just saw the DMs today. I think you were avoiding anything until there was an official statement. Just a small hunch based on how some other drama YouTubers have interacted with me. If I'm wrong, that's fine. You have an angle to protect, though gotta protect yourself and seem as transparent as possible to keep your reputation safe, since it directly impacts your source of income. Can't have any reason to lose subscribers. Are you planning to help Alex save his reputation / the game? I hate how people are leaving the project." End quote. All right, so all the kayfabe, all the fucking pretending to be nice to people, that's gone, right? So you want to know my angle, girly? Here's my fucking angle. You're fucking nuts. My reputation is dictated by whether or not I'm true to my own values, not whether or not I look good in the eyes of the public. I'm fine saying uncomfortable things, which, by the way, calling you nuts and a piece of shit is such an opinion that makes people uncomfortable because you're a minor, but here you are playing a grown-up as fuck game. So I tell her, yeah, you got me. And from there, I don't want to give her anything, letting her spill details to me. And she did ask for some hot takes from me as well, which I do believe she was looking for gotchas, and I wasn't giving her anything. She asked me some primers, and I kept it vague. At the time, I didn't really have an angle. The angle comes about in the writing room, not during the research process. Anyway, she asked me some questions. Quote, "How often do you think Alex and I speak?" Well, knowing more now, I can expand on these things since I was unsure at the time. I think you talk with him all the time, and even have different pseudonyms. The guy, for all I know, could still be talking to you to this day. I have no reason to think otherwise. Do you know about any photos/videos? Things that discredit you? Yeah, I do know about the things that discredit you. I bet you want to claim all of those are fake. I don't think all of them are fake. Just an opinion. I'm actually being nice by leaving some of those things out. Do you trust anything on r/Osana? Now, yeah, it's a shame that being an anti-community has completely poisoned the well. I think they all are really super righteous and want to crusade, and a lot of that has done more harm than good. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love a good pack watch. I'm a drama channel, but these people, they need to touch some grass. Call people out on their bullshit, yeah, but we can't all sit around and think the moron who can't finish the anime murder game is also somehow a master manipulator, when in reality, he's just a dysfunctional, neat loser lolcow who can't get any pussy. So this is actually where I picked up that something was going on between Anne and Cameron, right? I kind of smelt like a gay op from these DMs. Either a gay op or between that and a recent stream that Cameron had held at the same time, I basically felt that these guys were sitting either in a Discord to fuck someone over, or the flirting might have been going on a little longer than what's publicly known, but I can't really comment on that. It's just a hunch. I do pry on what she feels about Cameron and her opinions on Cameron, but she is a smart one and doesn't want to share any of those things, though it does come off as pretty positive about him. So this conversation goes on for a bit, and it seems Cameron has some tacit agreement with her. Remember, I had no idea that these two had hooked up when I started DMing her on December 26th. So I let the girl off knowing I'm not getting much directly, but me and a few of my fellow drama tubers read over these DMs, and again, this is where we felt that there was something odd about this Cameron Anne connection, and it was something worth looking into more in detail and wasn't just the ramblings of some teenager. Eventually, yeah, Anne would go on to accuse Cameron. She sent me the quote-unquote real uncensored dick pic image as she would begin to just ramble in my messages without me responding. Here is when she accuses Cam for the first time. I don't know what to think. I know they got sexual in person, but online, that's another story, and I don't really have access to those things. Cameron, though, probably does. This is also where I get the Gilded screenshots, and it's how I learned that Dev was still chatting with Anne on Gilded, as she told Dev about Cameron. She went under the name Cory Cat over here, so that's how I knew that Dev was still chatting to her under a new pseudonym. She would accuse him again in February, by the way, Cameron, I mean, and here she would produce a third story about honeypotting, and apparently it was only this one specific account. Now, by this point in the story, I didn't trust her at all as far as leads go. Cameron was lying by omission, and Anne was lying by omission as well. There was one call I had with Cameron where I was very serious that he was putting himself in danger, and I was telling him that he needed to fix his shit. I was very, very critical of Anne here, which is where those calls that I played earlier come from, right? Anne sends me a very funny set of messages, right? She was fed up with me warning people about her, about how she's nuts. She says I need to grow some balls, which I will say the balls on this fucking teenager are outrageous. And for good measure, here is the DMs in video format as well. So go fuck yourself. All right, babes, let's wrap this one up in a nice little bow, shall we? Now, I should mention, I've never in my life seen a larger gaggle of morons getting outplayed by a girl a decade their junior for the most part. Kami and Allie were so obsessed with getting a scoop, they repeatedly placed their feet into their mouths. Allie couldn't stop Anne from interacting with Dev, seemingly too stupid to understand why saying she was working on a video to Anne would embolden her to go out and seek information. While at the same time, Anne was an active participant in information gathering. Now, Kami is basically the messenger who I'm shooting. Kami would rush to publish information that made no fucking sense, and screenshots that would be immediately contradicted, unknowingly poisoning the well with junk leads and information for what? A TikTok? Jesus Christ, Kami, maybe you'd be in less of monetary dire straits if you stopped the half-baked drama TikToks and complaining about your family, okay? Maybe if you stopped being such an insufferable ass, you wouldn't be so fucking broke. In my opinion, Krexa is an opportunist. Cameron should have never opened his door to her, absolutely. The guy was thinking with his dick, and ultimately, It's a lot of he said, she said. She is an embellisher with some serious mental illness. There was no reason for her to get involved in this, and no reason for her to be telling Anne to entrap Cameron, which is crazy. Cameron is a liar. He's a moron and a lying snake. I'm sure people wish he was worse, but I think those are all easy ones to say, and I think I've shown enough evidence to prove the fact. He fucked Anne, who's 16 at the time, who's a victim of Yandere Dev, who used to be his best friend. There is something I want to mention. There was a call I didn't record with Cameron because it was really not appropriate for this and really dark. Cameron was in tears at the time of this call with me. He recalls a time about his closest friend Dev, right? This was before his opinion had soured, which he's allowed to change his opinion on people. I don't think that's necessarily flip-flop bullshit. This was related to something seriously, a tragedy that happened in his life. I mean, this is, what Dev did for him is the kind of behavior that you'd say you'd give the shirt off your back, you know, to that guy who did that thing for you, right? Like, Dev did a I'd lay down my life for you type thing for Cameron. Dev was that close with Cameron, and Cameron, from Dev's perspective, went behind Dev's back and fucked the girl who, quote unquote, ruined Dev's life. I mean, that's not just betrayal, that's like scoundrel shit. Cameron would lie by omission to me. I don't feel he was running defense for Dev that hard. He was more running defense for Anne, in my opinion. Cameron said he's supposed to be working for Oompaville, but I hope that was a lie he told to me. Caleb is smarter than that to bring this fucking moron into his midst, and honestly, I just think he has deplorable character. You know, putting aside the age gap between him and Anne, you know, assuming that this was a legal adult and they were whatever, right? Just the idea of him doing that to his friend is just so fucking despicable. It's so despicable. I hate it. It just makes me angry on like a moral standpoint, let alone the other moral standpoints. Speaking of the big morons in the room, Yandere Dev, I mean, come on, guys, he's cooked, right? It's rightfully and with good conscience Jover. There's no coming back from this. The apology was not great, and in case you guys want to know, yes, I did see it before it went live, and at the time, I thought it was fine. I was kind of fucking tired when I watched it, right? I was assuming he had screenshots and that he just didn't share with me. That was not the case at all. When I watched the recording back, I realized that apology really sucked and made no sense. Which, you know, I'll own that one. My bad. Nothing could really save him anyway. He did what you saw long ago in those Snapchat DMs. He admitted all of that to me, right? He and Anne deleted DMs, so who knows what else was even shared. Even his former closest friend Cameron thinks he's a groomer, which I think should tell a lot of people plenty. For Dev, I mean, now with Yandere Simulator, tons of people left the project. Even though Allie couldn't stick the landing with her video at all, she bungled it. She's a moron and stupid. I mean, to put it plainly, she dealt the killing blow. You know, not me. I'm picking up the pieces. It's been months later. Like, you know, like I can hate on Allie all I want, but I can call it what it is. That ain't a notch on my belt. That's a notch on yours. All it cost Allie was absolutely everything. I mean, Yandere Dev, Alex, I don't think he'll ever recover. I don't think he should have redemption. I find him pathetic, and where I used to have sympathy for him, I have none left. Which, if you saw my old video, you know, is quite a mean thing for me to say because, frankly, in conversation with the guy, he's weird and a loser, but he's also not that bad to be around. But he just couldn't help himself, right? He talked to Anne. He sealed his fate. He did that himself. She's a victim regardless of his status, right? That's his fault, not Anne's. He shouldn't have had those conversations with the minor. He just shouldn't have. There's no coming back from that. It's Jover. It's Jover. Speaking of Anne, there's a lot to say. She's the reason this video is so long. She's a danger to other minors, in my opinion. Her home life does sound bad, but I think we're way past the point where we should be expressing sympathies. She ran a Discord e-brothel and honeypots, probably putting more minors at risk than we'll ever know. She would poison a well, speaking out of both sides of her mouth, which just added vast amounts of junk information my team sent to the feds. She'd extort people like no tomorrow. She reminds me most of all of Isabella Janke, or those femcel phenotype, you know, psychotic neats. She thinks she's a mastermind. Anne's Twitter is gone, and at this point, I think it's for the best, and especially for the best for Anne, if she just buckles down and focuses on schooling and hopefully turning into a better person. Maybe JROTC will be the outlet that she needs, but I don't think the military would want to take someone like her with her history. It's just not something the U.S. Army needs. Throughout this video, I've been doing my best to share info with the feds. I wouldn't have been able to do this video without my small volunteer team who A-log like motherfuckers, with particular mention to one standout, Nani, who is outrageously good. I had them digging up stuff left and right. I had them in stream chats asking questions that needed to be asked. I gotta thank my friends from Now Recording, with particular mention to Core and Matt Pitt for listening to me bitch about this, for Xylee Gets Real for screwing over Allie in one of the funniest and easiest to perform ops ever. With those thank yous out of the way, allow me a moment to close, right? I'm tired. I'm tired of these fucking snakes. I'll drop what I need to drop and I'll go over it on stream. I know the farms and r/Osana want to see it. I totally get that and I appreciate it. But yeah, that's I'm leaving that where it is. I understand nobody will be happy with this or whatever. I don't know what the fucking response is going to be. I do love doing investigative work. This is where I think I perform my best. But I think between Illuminati and this, I'm cool with just doing some normal video essays. So please support me on Patreon. I'd hope to go back to regular scheduled programming because I'm fucking broke because my network won't pay me. I'm certain in the meantime, the involved parties got a lot to say about me, but I frankly couldn't give a fuck what any of them have to say. And this has been one of the craziest fucking things I've ever gotten involved with. I never want a story this complicated again. Holy shit. Holy shit. You guys want to know why cops and feds take so long? I guarantee you they're looking into this. Let's be real. Anyway, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. And I'll be live on Diesel IRL like now, probably. So go check it out.